of the movie,
Even the casting's wrong.
and it's just like there was no way where Topher Grace was gonna be that guy.
Like
There
when they
was
casted him, I was like, "Well, you made a mistake already," and that tells me, and they said, there's been interviews with Sam Raimi after, and he was like, he doesn't even like Venom as a character, so like no wonder he didn't looked at Topher Grace and was like, "That's fine,"
Yeah,
right? Because
he didn't give a shit who the hell was going to
he didn't
be
give
the
a
dude.
shit. And
As
then
long as he had the dude in there so he could continue making the movies that he wanted to make.
That's also why you notice Venom
The
is
director
killed
of Spider-Man 1,
Killed.
2, and 3, the original
doesn't
ones.
get away. He's killed at the end. So there's no carnage possibility.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
There
but like,
probably is, but there's no
but they killed
real
him.
possibility
He
of
did
him
that.
coming back.
He did that for a reason, because there was supposed to be a fourth movie that was supposed to be The Vulture, and they're looking at John Malkovich at being the Vulture, which frankly
would have been pretty dope.
But things fell apart.
Grew up on them though back in the day. That's why I feel like the biggest thing was with the original Spider-Man. But everybody grew up on that way. On him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Spider-Man 2 is
the
great.
first Spider-Man movie, right?
Yeah.
Besides for cartoons.
X-Men, okay. I hate thinking about this. For me, breaking into it, like as far as a major motion
Wait,
picture.
do you like the newer Batman movies over the versus the older ones?
the Dark Knight series is for me.
Different generations for me, man. It's
The
hard for me to
first
sit here.
Batman
and-
Begins-
I'm like, do you prefer the
I
old ones?
fucking despise that. Batman Begins.
I can't compare them
But Dark
I can't
Knight
compare
It's a
them
brilliant movie.
because it's
woke
different.
me up.
Batman
I was-
Begins. Batman Begins is a really good movie.
I loved Batman.
No,
I don't know,
fucking
man.
despised it.
You can say no. You can say what you want to say about it. That's
Wait,
fine.
hey, what movies did you like better? Did you like the originals, or did you like?
Wait,
So-
the originals are
So
completely
no,
different.
but it's fair.
The
But you
originals
mean
are
like?
completely different.
Do you mean like as in
The '80s movies opposed to these like newer
Yeah.
movies. That's what you mean, right?
That's,
Obviously.
I would. It's funny because I would have to say the newer one. The newer one.
You like them
not
better?
not the Justice League and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No.
But I like them better in a sense. At the same time, Jack Nicholson was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And
Like, that's why you don't compare the Jokers. Well, I don't count.
No
Jared.
matter what,
I
they will.
don't count.
Yeah.
Count Jared Leto.
But-
He doesn't
but-
count.
no, he
He's
doesn't
like
count.
officially doesn't count to me.
but what I was gonna say though is like if you're gonna say
Was
because
he
if
the
you
first
say
one?
all,
No, he's the Suicide Squad one.
Oh,
if you're gonna say all of the movies, you have to technically you have to count Batman
Okay.
Forever and
and with the ones like,
Yeah.
with like this.
Do you know what I
mean? Sure.
Like, I
If
mean,
I'm gonna count those movies, it's like for
That's
me
why I mean, like, I
that
don't think
ends.
it's very-
I want to say
Batman Returns.
comparable acting, like when with what's his name?
they're different movies.
The first one and the
different
first
movies.
ones.
Michael Keaton.
No, who playing the Joker.
Jack Nicholson.
Oh,
Jack Nicholson. Like the acting that was done in that movie was not necessarily similar to the newer ones, but I mean it's
Oh,
just like the.
No,
I mean,
it's completely different.
but I mean compared to even the more original
completely
Batman.
different.
It's
Because the
like,
original, like for me, the original Batman goes back to Adam
That's
West.
what I'm talking about. Adam West. Adam
Yeah,
West. I mean, like, compared to Adam
with
West's
Romero.
acting, it's
So,
completely different
but-
compared to even
but-
the next Batman.
bro,
But when you're growing
We
up,
got shark repellent in the first Batman movie. We got shark repellent.
he's always
shark
prepared,
repellent.
man.
Bat shark repellent, dog. I didn't even know I needed that
No,
shit.
no, but see, I grew up
Batman
on that whole idea. So for me, when I got the Michael Keaton version,
my bad.
a lot darker,
Hold up.
a lot fucking more intense, and then you have this Joker, and you're just like,
Brilliant.
holy shit! Then you have the soundtrack. The
And
soundtrack,
Prince, fucking Prince.
you're
It was
just like
amazing.
blown away. But then you come back, and then it's just like, all right, now you have,
What Heath?
Are you talking about Batman Returns? Or are you talking about new?
because I'm talking about because when you go after Batman, who played Batman again? It was fucking
Val Kilmer came next.
Val
That was
Kilmer and
horrible.
yeah, it was ridiculous.
Forever-
It was
Forever
bad.
wasn't horrible, but it wasn't good.
It wasn't not a good movie.
That was with the Riddler.
It was a good concept movie.
The
Riddler and Two-Face.
The Riddler, Two-Face, dope.
Do you know how good Two-Face would be on screen? Like not even like the
He did great.
half-ass one that we
He
got
did.
in fucking because I think it's half-ass.
No,
I think he
no.
was good for the like listen
No.
listen
I-
to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. Let me finish. Because like I'm talking from a comic reader's perspective.
because he didn't get a full.
Okay,
full
if you
version.
read All-Star
Is he supposed to be
fucking
as crazy as the Joker?
oh it's not
It's
that he's
different.
crazy, he's calculated. So like Two-Face is the
and
type of
nobody
person
can be compared to the Joker, actually.
yeah, he
Not
kind of
really.
stands on his yeah.
He's at it. He's in a different.
got moments.
He's in a different.
If Two-Face was an antagonist in his own movie, like I would read All-Star Batman if I was the director for that film. This in that story, this dude, everybody in Gotham City, he has a secret on them. Every single fucking person in Gotham City. And he's trying to get out of the city to get away from Batman to do whatever the hell he's got to do. And he's put a ransom out on Batman, on the whole city to get him off of his back because he's got a secret on every single one of them. Alfred turns on him. I'm pretty sure he like blows up his plane in the midst of this story because he has a secret on him. Two-Face is a gangster, bro. I'm telling you. That representation that I'm not saying it was bad.
I hear you saying
I'm
you're
not saying it was bad. I'm just saying, yeah, it's like plot device.
What's Joker's original story?
Well, mind
There
you,
is no original story.
So the Phil Nicholson was made up at the beginning.
The Jack Nicholson thing, that is
there's a bunch of possible stories when
Yeah.
it comes to Joker, and that's kind of the best thing about
So
it.
he was. I mean, so like
See, what I first took it as is that he was the one that killed Batman's family.
Yeah.
That's
that's
how I
the
took
that's the
I
initial
remember
thing.
that. I
In-
remember
in-
that.
in-
But
that.
when
He
you
was one
watch
of the
it,
gangsters or one of the guys that robbed him.
again, it's not him.
No,
It's a guy that represents that
Oh,
underworld.
that's what
Yeah.
it was supposed to mean.
Joker,
So-
right?
Joe Chill.
Joe Chill.
So for me, going further, it's just like when you get to Forever and then you got George Clooney, that should have never been fucking made, ever.
Batman should never have nipples on his suit. It's just really a
Straight
problem
up,
for
man.
me. It's really
Never
a
even
problem.
thought
It's
about
very distracting. You don't think about it,
No.
but when you watch a movie like that now, like you see it on
I
TV now,
don't think I've ever
it's
seen
very
lined out in front of
distracting.
me all of the different Batman outfits. I don't think I've ever seen.
Oh,
it.
No, I
there's some-
There's
there's
some. You
there's
guys
some
probably
picture
literally
Batmans that are
seen
really
really
neat.
Yeah,
You guys probably seen a picture of.
You
it,
go
but,
from
like,
Adam West, then you see the fucking
you see 89 Batman.
the Michael Keaton.
Well,
That one right there.
Can I show you guys my keys, by the way? Sorry, keep
Man, fever. That shit. I remember my sister took me to go see that movie, and I was just like, because it was my birthday,
Oh no.
and I was just like, yo, that car.
you need to plug
I
it in.
remember getting it from McDonald's and fucking be at school
Oh, see, that's dope as fuck.
and just go.
I
crazy.
actually have a black version of it, but I didn't want it to get scratched.
No, I feel you.
I also, you've seen I have the
Oh, you have the
A toy version.
model. Yeah.
like a big model of the animated series.
Yeah,
Battery
for
guy?
a little bit. Fuck.
Because that
Fucked
one's
up.
the shit.
Oh, it's fine.
Batteries.
I'm still going live right here anyway, so
We're going to get more footage, right?
yeah.
More and more footage. I still have my program stuff to do it. I got my program dug up, so I still have it.
Oh, true.
I'll fix it when I go to school.
Yeah, that really helps.
It's like
Where were we
Yeah.
here?
yeah. Well, we got off track from X-Men, but like we can come back to that. But like
Yeah.
I
Look,
think
look,
the
with Batman, it's just to answer your question from my point of view, like I just don't.
There we go.
How do I say this? Because we're like the way they have him depicted right now is really really annoying to me.
Who are you talking about?
Like, because I like Ben Affleck's Batman. I do. I really really do. I fuck
He
with him.
did a really good job.
Okay, people give him a lot of shit, you know, and I think he did an awesome job. I've said a whole bunch of times from the moment that they cast this guy as this guy, I was like, dude, it is so easy to be Batman. Like out of any superhero, to be Spider-Man is a certain thing.
Yeah.
To be Superman is a certain thing. You
Yeah.
have to embody a certain thing to be some of these characters.
I don't know.
No,
I don't-
man,
I don't know if I
To
agree
be
with you on that.
to be Batman is easy. You put on the mask, you get yourself a different voice, you beat the shit out of people,
It's
you
not like he
brood
runs
a
the
little
company
bit.
or anything
He's
like
not
that.
doing anything
Yeah,
when
he
you're
doesn't
Batman.
do anything.
When you're Superman,
I get what he
when
means.
you're
He does-
saving people,
No,
you have to
I-
make that look
I
a
know.
certain way.
Compared to,
Superman
like,
inspires
I mean,
people.
I know it's a
When you're
different model,
Spider-Man
right?
and he's out there doing his
Yeah,
thing,
but
you
he
have
owns
to see the
he sees
adversity
even his
that
own
he goes
product
up
being
against
sold to the
being
wrong people.
Spider-Man. Not
Like,
everybody
he
can
had like
portray
a
that on
an
their
arms
face.
business, right?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
See,
for
but
Batman,
to be Iron Man at the end of the day, like there's only one Tony Starks. There's not a multiple
Now?
that you see
Yeah.
in your mind. There's always that's the
There's
one
movie
thing about
Toby.
that character.
Okay,
However,
that's-
hear me
that's
out,
what
hear
you're-
me out,
you're
hear me
saying.
out.
And that's the thing. But when you look at seeing the different Batmans, that's why for me, I feel that indifference is where I'm like, every Batman has its own signature.
No.
It's not easy
no,
because
it's,
there's
no,
Michael
you're
Keaton-
wrong.
They're all
I'm
different.
not
wrong.
saying that's not
That's
easy.
exactly it, though. They
But-
can, they
You're
can
wrong.
be all different.
You're wrong.
And
Here's
honestly,
what I'm gonna say. I'm
and-
gonna debunk what
no,
you have to
that's
say
just-
right now. Playing
I'm
Bruce
actually
Wayne
with
is
you.
what's hard, bro.
Yes.
You, the
Yes.
character is Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
Being Batman is so easy, bro. Because you just it's
Imagine
you're
using
going
a
through the
millennial
motions.
For Batman.
You're going through the motions. But
Like,
if
I mean,
you're
like,
gonna
that's what I mean,
be
like, they could
Bruce
do
Wayne,
that.
It'd
that
be
is your character.
It'd be so sensitive. It'd just be like either they're super sensitive or they're on the verge of being the Punisher. They're just vindictive and going in and just murdering.
Well, but
No,
but
think-
no,
look,
but
think
here-
about it. Think
Somebody
about
can pull it off.
Just think
and
about what
still
I'm
work.
thinking
No,
about.
Okay, wait. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about Batman. This is why I'm with you and kind of. So here's the thing about Batman, and also the beauty of the character. He can be drawn. He can be characterized in so many. His world can be characterized in so many different ways.
Is that your cup?
1966.
No, that's your call.
1966 Batman with Adam West is campy, and it's supposed to be Robin, blah blah blah. And when you
Boof, bam, bam.
yeah,
So that's what I mean.
it's
It's a
supposed to
different
be-
acting time
It's supposed to be like
compared
that.
to real
well, not,
acting. now.
well, not even that it's an acting time, but that show, that depiction of
But you had to
Batman.
be more verbally
is
descriptive
one-
of what you were doing back then compared to now.
No,
No.
and here's and this is what I mean is that it's not even a time thing. It's specifically that Batman, like the way that they did that Batman that way, because there's even a comic series called that right now,
Yeah, but Batman 66.
and it's
Like
and
a
it's, the
regular-
and it's
campy-
exactly the
the
same
campy
as
version.
watching the show.
And then you have 1989 Batman, which is basically Tim Burton's version of 1966, which is a darker, slightly campy version, and it fucking works. Then you get the one after Batman Returns, which is still in that same vein. But if you watch Batman Returns, then it puts the first one in a certain light. Then you're like, yes, this whole thing is supposed to be slightly campy, but realistic, like slightly. And
Sorry,
then
use the villain's name so I know which ones you're talking about.
Catwoman and Penguin with
Okay.
Danny DeVito and fucking
Michelle
Michelle
Pfeiffer.
Pfeiffer. And
But I,
oh
feel
my
like,
goodness.
I just feel like a lot of the Batmans around that time, the Gotham, like you're saying, like who did it? Who was the director of majority of those?
The
That
first
was-
two is
They
Tim
changed-
Burton.
they changed
Those
it.
first two was
So I mean, like
Tim
he kind
Burton.
of like created a good persona of what Gotham City kind of like put in your mind, what it would look like.
Yeah, but he also
I think,
followed the comics.
I think what
It's
he's
that-
like with what he's saying, the campy part of those movies isn't really as much Batman or the villains as much as it is like Jim Gordon and all of the people, the parts that are moving around in the city. That part of the movie is what's campy.
campy.
It's all going through the motions like it used to in the old 60s
Yes.
show. He's like, oh, we got to call Batman for this. So they put up the light and Batman
Limited.
comes and he talks to them for a few minutes and he's like, oh, I'm going to go and deal with shit. And then the serious tone of the movie comes in and you're seeing what the director wants you to see.
Yeah.
Like I said,
And then and that's the beauty of Batman is that you can do him in all of these different ways. You can do him where he's played off by Robin, where Robin is super fun and blah blah blah, and Batman's just because that's Batman. That Batman is Batman all the time. He is the way he is. But his universe can be played in so many different ways. Whereas that Spider-Man, his universe is going to be the same way.
it has to be.
It has to be the same way. The X-Men's universe is going to be the same way. I'm not sure what the Marvel universe is going to do. Like, whatever. I'm not going to come to that.
Yeah.
Like meaning like Spider-Man's personality being like a young kid, like with
Just the way that New York has to be
New
not
York
depicted.
is
It has to
sensitive, just
the
New
way
York
it
is
has
New
to be
York.
depicted.
It's real
It's
It's
gotta feel that period of time of what it is right now for it to
all the
make
time.
sense.
yeah.
All the time.
Because if it's not, like if you look Spider-Verse,
I mean, that's what I mean. They can't
It's
make,
the
they can't
real
make a
of what it
Batman
is right
looking
now.
back in the
I was
80s
just
or
talking to
60s.
my
But Gotham can always be fucking whatever.
They
it
could make a
wants.
campy
Yeah,
movie
I
right now if they
yeah,
wanted
in New
to.
York.
But look what they make it look like today. They make it look like it's a typical city to relate to, more or less, right? Make it look like a regular city.
For the
Because you're like,
casual
holy
viewer,
shit, imagine
yeah.
this going off in our own
No,
city.
but I was just
kind of
talking to my
idea, right?
cousin, like he's in Brooklyn, and I was just like, and I said to him, and it was kind of stupid when I think about it now, being like, so what's the crime like? And because he's like, he started off, it's like, man, it's just pure white people. Like you wouldn't, if you go back
Where?
In Brooklyn, yeah,
in
it's
Brooklyn, if
the
you go back
gentrification of
20
Brooklyn.
years,
Yeah.
you seen a white dude, everybody's like, yo, bro, are you sure you know where the fuck you are?
What you need?
It's 10 o'clock in the morning. It's like you go to
Where's your badge?
like if he's asking a question like, hey, do you know so and so? that person's not talking to you. They're going about their business like you don't exist.
Mhm.
You live on the opposite side of the street where it's like there's white people that live over here and you live here. You don't talk to white people that live over here. You see them, you don't talk to them. You just keep moving.
That's economic growth right there, bro.
I mean, that's a whole. I mean, that's a completely different relationship. Completely. I mean,
No, but it's the whole that word gentrification, to see it now and to where my cousins
Yeah,
live
like-
now to where we were when we were coming out there.
Yeah.
It's completely different.
We're getting
it's
off
a
base,
whole
though.
other side.
Let's not go there. Let's not go
I
there.
mean, like,
All I'm trying to say,
that's not the. That's different from what they can do with these movies easily.
No, but they're putting in that gentrification into it to make you go, if you were in New York, this is what you would see. You would bump into this kind of scenario. That's how real it's going to be.
Well, because Spider-Man's in New York, X-Men's in New York. Gotham City is Gotham City.
it's a self-contained.
It's
They can literally put it
City.
beside any city they fucking realistically
Yeah.
wanted to, but they put it. I'm pretty sure they put it
It's
beside
so-
New York, don't they?
I think Metropolis is like near New York. No, Metropolis is near Washington. I think you might be right. Gotham is near New York.
Yeah.
Well, because
But, like,
Delaware,
But look at. I mean,
but
look at,
Gotham is
they
Gotham.
look at from New York City. I'm pretty sure it's from New York Island. They're looking or Superman's looking at Batman or looking at Gotham City
Metropolis.
in the what's it with the
Yeah. pretty much.
Yeah.
there's
It's like if
Metropolis,
you're-
that's
if
they
you're
were.
Metropolis is like
If you're going to Delaware,
Washington, kind
you're going to Delaware. That's Washington State.
I mean, like they typically put it over there in the New York
Yeah.
State area.
Here's what I'm
Because-
saying, man. Here's what I'm saying. Being Bruce Wayne
is
is
the hard
what's
part.
that's the hard part.
I agree.
Okay, so like
Batman,
you watch Michael Keaton do his thing. Like if you go back to Adam West is campy and he's supposed to be what he's supposed to be. He does his job. That's cool. But when we get into film, like straight on film, you feel Bruce Wayne's pain when you're watching Michael Keaton do his
Yeah.
thing.
Mhm.
You feel
And
all
Val
of
Kilmer.
that. Okay, a little bit.
A
It's
little
a little bit forced.
It is
I'm
a
gonna
little,
say-
definitely.
It's really, really
He's definitely
forced in
forced.
Batman Forever. But like, and with George Clooney, he's like the most detached, emotional
just-
Batman I've ever watched in my life.
Yeah.
It's so fucked up. Shout out to George. Like,
Nah, it's like
You can also play-
They try to make
Okay.
they try to make him so cool,
That's
and it
the
was
problem.
and it was just
Remember,
like
it's like the black card at one
yeah,
point.
the back card.
And
And
it's
I
just-
always go around with it. It's like a Visa or whatever. Like, it's so wrong. It's
what
just
it
so
created,
wrong.
it created.
But that's the
black-
campy part that we're
Fucking
talking about,
Joel
right?
Schumacher.
You go to
Hey,
this
what's this about?
Batman still. We're still on Batman.
Oh, when did you do that?
In the fourth movie, he like it's right at the beginning. He like stops Mr. Freeze and like the guy's sitting there talking about, oh, what are you gonna do for whatever, like donating to the charity, and he's like, oh, I got my
One of
back.
the older ones.
Yeah, I got my back credit card. I gotta go anywhere. It's fucking ridiculous.
Because it was
It's
such
so
a period
ridiculous.
of time where people were using credit cards at the highest point.
Yeah,
So it was
so
just
stupid. It's such
it's
a
demographics. It's demographics. I get it.
It's just like in that one scene, you can tell that they
They
don't
didn't give a
any
fuck.
fucks about
They don't
this-
give a fuck about what's going
anything.
on in this
because
movie.
like even if you just start to question the logic of that scene, so you're telling me Batman has his own credit card.
As a kid, you don't really take it in.
Hey,
But as
Batman's
soon as
gotta
you-
get gas.
Yeah,
Yeah, but he's Bruce Wayne, bro. He's
I mean,
Bruce
like-
fucking Wayne, bro. He probably owns a bunch
So,
of
like,
gas
Batman-
stations.
does
He's
Batman-
Bruce Wayne.
Does Batman go into the bank and be like,
Hey,
"Hey,
$50,000.
so apply for your loan?"
That'd be
And they're like-
so funny.
and they're- it's like, do they do a background
It's
check on
Can I
Batman?
go to the
And he's
bank in
like,
my bat outfit today?
You know,
and they're like,
Axel
go background.
shows up in the line and be like, I got time to wait. I got time to kill.
it's a long time until nightfall, so I'm good.
I'm
I'm
good.
good.
I'm getting up early to be Batman to go to the fucking bank.
know?
What was it? Batman? When he flashes what? The Batman?
The
card?
back
Oh,
card.
Batman. What is Batman?
Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin. That's the movie. Yeah. So like when we get to Christian Bale now, and I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna say to you right now, I don't care who thinks it because I've said it. You've heard me say it. I don't think Christian Bale is a great Batman.
What are you talking about?
Look how mad you are.
What
Look
are
how
you
much
talking
he
about?
is a shitty Bruce
So then
Wayne.
why? So what? Because
The only movie where
he
he's a
takes
good
on-
Bruce Wayne
he
is the
takes on
first
the
one.
idea.
The movie
When he
that
was-
you
when he was
dislike.
he
hallucinated
takes
by,
on the idea.
Ivy.
Yeah.
It was when he was hallucinated by.
No, it's before.
No, it's before
when
it.
they're when he goes to donate.
No, he takes in the idea.
No, he is
Oh no,
hallucinated.
you're right. He is
Yes.
hallucinated. Yeah.
He's hallucinated by Ivy.
Utility belt, not a money belt. 6 million. 7 million.
Bro.
That's pretty funny. I've never taken that in.
Never leave the cave without it.
Like, get the
Honestly,
fuck out
Joel
of here.
Schumacher needs to be punched for like 30 things.
Second, bro.
That's one. The nipple, each nipple is one.
Yeah, bro. You need
The
to
butt shot of all three of them.
If he
that's
was
the
ever at a
individual
Comic Con,
one.
I'd just go up to the front and I'd be like,
With
Fuck
the
you,
Batman,
bro.
Jesus.
"Fuck you!" And what you did to
I
Batman,
feel like the
I
sign-ups
bet
would
you
be
he
like
has a
that.
fucking bat visa.
bro. We didn't get a Batman movie for 8 years after that.
Or
bro.
he just caught so much shit for
8
it, they just gave him
years.
money
Because
and
they
everything.
realized how fucking
Well, remember,
how
we
bad it
actually
was.
actually didn't get many superhero movies. Period. It wasn't
Yeah.
until
No,
Blade.
that's not true. Blade was next year.
Blade wasn't following.
Blade
that?
was next year,
Okay, fair enough. And Blade,
Okay.
but Blade was the one that like
and that's one of those ones
also
that's
allowed.
it's under
it
the
made-
radar, bro.
Blade. Well, this is the
If
thing
it
about
wasn't
Blade.
for Blade, we
It's
wouldn't
like
have had
Resident Evil,
X-Men.
I feel Blade's like it's just
No, but the thing
The
about
first
it
one is really dope,
the,
man.
the target market's just.
dude. Do you
I mean,
know
it's
how
not like
many
anybody would
people-
just be like, "Oh, that looks like an action-packed movie. I'm gonna go see that." No, that looks like a dark movie.
Yeah, but that was the same. It was the same time the Matrix came out, and people were. That's
No,
when people were
Matrix
streaming.
is a bit off from that.
It's
2
a year
years,
later.
a year or so off. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's when
I
people
feel like the Matrix got
started
pushed
doing
on a lot of different.
a lot
like
of
it was just so like,
download.
oh, it was so cool
So
how
you
he dodged
downloaded
bullets and
Blade?
shit.
I
I
know.
mean, like
Blade 2. I'm wrong.
Blade was
Blade 2 because then the Matrix.
Blade 2 is
vampires,
they went
dope.
vampires,
And yes,
right?
this is the other
That's
reason
thing-
why
that's the
Blade was
stigma,
so
though,
good
right
at the
there,
time.
was Blade.
Was because
They
we were
had
coming
a
off
lot
of
of
Interview with the
vampire stuff
Vampire,
going on
and
at that
vampires were
And then-
fucking
They were
big
hot,
at
yeah.
the time. They were hot at the time.
Yeah.
Vampires were super. And Buffy was on TV. Buffy was on TV at that time.
So it was
Vampire
just like-
movies were in.
It's a bit. I mean, there was the stigma right there with vampires. Whether you were into vampire movies or not, if you were into them, yeah, you saw Blade. If you weren't, you were not seeing Blade.
everybody was watching it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Everybody was
Well, I,
watching
think
can
it was,
agree with
it
that.
Was, yeah, it was
I-
an action movie.
to be
though,
totally
right?
honest,
like
a lot of people
Blade
were
2 is different though.
into
The first one, I'll agree with you
Well, because
wholeheartedly.
you
The
gotta look at
second
that
one,
what?
the
Bram
second
Stoker's-
Blade movie, the Blade 2 was pushed in such a way like it was like all of these superhero movies have come out up until this point and they've been successful. I'm gonna give you guys this. Blade 2 is dope.
Blade 2 is for. Do you remember that flipping fight
I'm
Blade
just saying,
2
where he
is dope.
jumps
I'm
off the
just
wall
saying,
and does
in
that?
general.
Oh my god!
The target market, as soon as anybody hears it's a vampire movie.
Oh, I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
What was the other movie we were comparing it to?
Matrix.
Matrix. There's nothing like Matrix.
There was nothing at the time.
At the time,
But still, there's nothing to compare it to. I mean, what is it even
I can
compared to today?
I can compare that
The
movie
Matrix. The Matrix.
to what the fuck is the movie?
I probably don't know.
I don't know,
is-
John Wick,
I know.
and I haven't even watched
Okay.
it yet.
Well, the thing
Still,
is,
I mean, like that's you
the
because
thing
you're so
is
stuck
that-
on the same fucking main character.
I haven't even watched it
the
yet.
Matrix was stylized in a way. It was very
You're not
like
wrong.
John Woo.
You can't compare it to the Matrix. I'm
It
just
was
saying,
like-
that's the only thing is it's not a comparable
John-
idea.
No, if you
Right
look
there.
at the Matrix, like the way it was done was like John Woo's movies,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Because remember the first like almost like all American one was
So John Woo is the one that made Blade.
No.
But that's what we're talking about.
No,
no.
but we're
you
going
said
off what you're
was
saying.
like Matrix. What was like the
Oh,
Matrix?
okay, sorry.
And like that influences a lot of the style of the Matrix. And then obviously like,
Because it really made a lot of people think about their own validity of being.
Well,
Am I human?
okay,
What is my
comparable movie
human-
would
what
be
is
of
humanity? What is
maybe
it?
Inception
You know,
almost.
Inception at that point was
Making
they
you
were-
think of like how much they made you think in Matrix. Just
and to be totally honest,
Matrix is freaking-
yo, I had to watch
I kind
Inception
of
like
agree with you.
7 times.
yes,
to
I mean,
get it.
Inception was a very
I had to watch it
intense
7
movie.
times because
Yeah.
I'm sitting there going like,
What the fuck did I? Where am I now?
if
Like,
you
yeah.
watch it in the middle of the movie, you're fucked.
Who's a superhero that you like?
who's a superhero?
Yeah, like your favorite.
Don't think about it too much.
Just whatever comes straight to you.
Based off of the movies, probably Iron Man would be my favorite.
Okay, that's cool. He already has his own standalone movie.
I don't. I like it's. I mean, like, I'm not
Would
giving you a very broad answer. Just like you said, don't think about it too
Mike,
much.
don't think about it.
No. Would you want to see anybody else play Iron Man? Like at this point?
I'm open to the idea, but again, at the same time, like, so I grew up with Spider-Man being at my youngest age. Like it was like it grew on me. All 3 of them. Then all of a sudden, another one comes out on me. I'm gonna have a stigma against it, no matter what. Same thing. It's the same idea with Iron Man. Iron Man's been almost as long as the original Spider-Man's. At least I don't know how long the first one came out. The last Spider-Man
2008.
and the first Iron Man came out. But still, like same idea. Like I grew up with what's his name?
Tobey Maguire.
No,
Yeah.
Iron Man.
Oh,
Robert
Downey Jr.
Downey. So I grew up with him. it'll be a little bit tough. But again, if you play it right and you do it good, I mean, I'm open to always that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it depends how it's played. I'm
And
not
then-
going to bash
and
you.
we all
for-
know that they're not going to revive Iron Man.
I think, all right,
Oh, there's a lot of
use the
ways they can
Joker.
go with it.
I
Well, you don't-
don't.
you
I mean, I don't hate on the new Joker. Oh, sorry, the one that was using the Suicide Squad. I liked how they changed. They did something different with him.
They
But
made
again,
him, they made him exactly what you talked about. They made him a millennial Joker.
Exactly. So then it hits a huge target. I mean, we're realistically.
I
it's the
agree.
target
I'll
market,
agree. I'll agree with
realistically,
that.
how
Because
everything
he was
is
a
right now.
because his whole
Based
style
off of
was
shit we
millennial.
learned in class,
He's
I'll agree with
emotional.
you there.
He's emotional and he's
That's like, I didn't
sadistic.
hate on him. I wouldn't say he was my favorite Joker.
But like the
but I
new
didn't hate
Joker
on
that's
him.
coming out, I'm already like, nope.
What do you feel about that? Did
From
you
the
watch
new-
the trailer for the new Joker? I think I already talked to you about how.
That's why I was confused when you were talking to me
Yeah.
about it. I was like, which one are you talking about?
I will.
You haven't watched it yet?
I've watched it.
So what do you
I
think?
will. I will wait it out. I think honestly, I think it's interesting. I
That's
think
what I mean, it's
one.
like-
I think Joaquin Phoenix
You're
is an
saying that
excellent actor.
I like me seeing a new Iron Man. Like, I mean, I'm open to the idea, but again, I would probably have my opinions if it was done like horrible compared to Downey. Downey did a fucking amazing job, but at the same time, there's nobody to compare
No,
Downey to.
He's Tony Stark though.
That's what I
That's
mean.
what I mean,
You
like,
can't
you
compare
can't-
him
I
to
don't-
anybody else because there's nobody else to compare him to.
Even if you did want to compare him to somebody
No, but
else,
I
you
feel-
set
you have
a
a
pretty
picture-
high benchmark, man. You
you
have
have
to,
a picture
if
of
you
Iron
read-
Man without his mask on in there, and not in a comic.
and not a comic.
Yeah.
It's like no, in your comics, you have a picture of Tony
Yeah,
Stark
yeah.
without his mask on.
Yeah.
and you see him what he looks like.
He looks exactly like Robert Downey Jr.
So that's, I mean, I don't know.
It's
that,
really,
but
yeah, no, he
103.
looks like, that's why it's so hard for me. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
There's nobody else. Like, I can't think of anybody.
I don't think
else.
they. I don't think they will. I don't think there's no.
What's he saying?
Well, he's here.
Okay.
I would say that they won't. They have to start a whole series
I
of
have
that.
to see if
episode.
Ray's awake.
Right
Are
now,
you taping with the GoPro?
It's off right now.
Josh, I'm gonna put this on you so that it's not just looking at dead air. Whatever, you're just live, man. Just keep talking.
No, I think he's already in.
Oh, at the door?
I think he's coming
He's
up.
coming out.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm not even sure where we were. The new Joker. I think it has potential. I think if you're doing a standalone movie, frankly, which I think DC should have been doing in the first place, I thought that was the right thing to do. How you doing? And it was good. I don't know. It looks interesting. We'll see where it goes, but it looks interesting to me. I think that's as far as I go. Yo!
What's going
See
on,
you in a
Anthony?
minute, yo.
You good?
Yeah, man.
That's Nick. I'm sure you know Josh. Huh? Oh yeah, the fold-out chair. You see it? Of course. Wait, it's
Sorry, in a moment.
not at the moment, no.
Charging up the battery a little bit.
That's nothing. This is nothing.
We're going live. Looks interesting. That's all I'll say. I think it's interesting to make him look like a
Are you in the
victim.
comics?
It's the build up. I think what they're doing.
Yeah, you'll be on more of a.
Not many people are though, right?
You'll be on the same page.
He does
Why y'all making fun of me? Fuck off.
he does disparity in a way like if you watch his movie
Joaquin
of
Phoenix.
her,
Oh, her is so good.
Look,
the way that he did that movie,
I'm not
you
saying-
fell in love when he fell in love. When he got broken up, like that movie, I didn't think I was gonna feel it, but it makes you feel something. It makes you feel like, what if I had, you know what I mean?
This person, this program that could be that.
To be that person that, you know what I mean, that you want to be an emotional, and then for it to be like, we're breaking up. Whoa. You're a program. You can't break up with me. I'm the ruler. I'm the controller. I'm the person that signed up for this. And it was beautiful. It was a beautiful
It's a really
fucking
good
movie.
It's really
And
good.
the
Her.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Yeah.
It was a good movie.
I'll watch it.
The
I'll
thing
watch
about
it.
that movie, when I watched that movie, I remember thinking in my head, and I was like, because I've always been like into technology, and I'm very much so a futurist and like early adopter of technology and some shit like that. So like having human and I wouldn't say artificial intelligence because it doesn't need to be AI.
Yeah.
We may never get AI.
Yeah.
because to
Because
get
apparently
AI,
yeah.
there are physical boundaries that we may not be able to crack.
Yeah.
Because to run a human brain on
wow.
a machine, or something that has a capacity of a human brain,
Yeah, to
on a
think
machine,
and adapt.
we would have to be able to fold the what's the word for the term?
Just the, I mean, like just the idea of it.
To put it basically,
too crazy.
The hardware, we don't have the hardware to do that.
To be able to do it, yeah.
Because the processing speed that we can accomplish,
Exactly. Yeah.
basically, to have a processor that would be that fast, the laws of physics don't permit it for what we have.
It would have to be
Yeah.
something that can change
Right.
its mind on the moment. Like
No.
I mean, like a human,
It's
though,
not
right?
even that. It's that the physical processor would burn up.
Yeah.
To run a human brain.
What's I mean, to be at that point, you would have to be running something that can change its mind at any given
At any
moment
given
and
time,
tell you
but
anything.
for it to be conscious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but even with that being said, we could still have a VI, like a virtual intelligence, right? It's not conscious. And even with that being the case,
Pre-programmed. Yeah.
even before that even happens,
Well, that's Alexa.
people are going to start
No.
having this.
Alexa's the
this is
first step.
an inevitability.
Yeah.
People are going
You know
to
what I
start
mean? Like-
having relationships with machines.
Oh, absolutely.
This is going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, so here's the thing now, is that
I think that's also what makes her
Yeah.
actually so interesting, because like the way they show it, you're like, yep,
I can see that.
like
here's the
no
thing.
question.
Is
You're
that
like,
what
yep.
this is?
Oh, it's
Falling in love with
truly
artificial
something. It's
intelligence?
really
Yeah.
interesting
Because it's a society. It's a whole, like, the whole world is connected, and then all of a sudden,
you have to watch the movie.
yes,
Almost like
okay.
just watch the movie.
It just
You'll
sounds a
enjoy
little
it.
bit like I don't know if you guys watch any anime, but like it just sounds like
like every single
no,
anime.
no
Have to
Sword
do
Art
20
Online.
years.
It just sounds like Sword
Yeah,
Art
yeah,
Online. I don't know if anybody's watched that before or heard of that
I've
show,
watched, I've heard of it.
but like in that, you basically you put on a VR helmet and you go in. You are in the game. You're in the
They have
game.
that already too.
No, you're like really, really in the game. Like you're walking around. You're in a village with a bunch of
Okay,
people.
so
like
Ready
you're
Player
in.
One.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you're in the
And
game.
that's not far away. From
I haven't watched that movie yet either.
It's quite good, man.
Okay.
I've been
From
told
the
it's
Easter egg
Player
standpoint
One.
alone.
You know that movie Ready Player One?
Yeah.
It's being built right now.
Yeah.
On the blockchain.
Yeah.
There's a few coins in cryptocurrency coins. Engine Coin, Loom Network. There's a couple other ones. And they are building exactly what Ready Player One. They're building that
Virtual
shit.
world.
A universe, not a world, a universe. So you could be in one game in 1 minute and walk into another game.
Yeah.
Right?
Which honestly
But
makes
the
perfect
concept,
sense.
the concept in
reality
the
of
Wreck-It Ralph, man. Wreck-It Ralph.
no, the concept in the show isn't like that. Like it is and it isn't. You're in this game and it's like an RPG, so you're like this character and you're doing your thing. The thing that happens in this show is that they get stuck in the game. The guy that creates the game, once it launches, like a worldwide launch happens for the game, and all these people log on to it and they're all trying to play. Like you can't log out of the game. You're stuck in the game.
Sounds like some Spy Kids shit.
No, like you're still. It's a little worse than that, bro. It's pretty intense.
Did you ever
And
watch Battlestar Galactica? The precursor to that show.
No.
There's a show, Caprica.
no, I've never watched that.
That was a good ass show.
Caprica.
And they had that. It was sort of they did have that.
You're
Where
not
it's like
smoking, right?
the game was so realistic that if you die in the game, you can never
Okay,
go back.
20,
'cause I gotta-
You stay
Yeah, I
in
know.
that world.
Well, no, it was opposite in the
I will
sense
send
where,
you
like,
home with something.
it's like a MMORPG, but it's like you're actually there, but there's no rules. So you like,
but
and
this
if
is
you die
generally
in
how
the
my
game,
podcast.
then you're
goes.
like you're
Just like
banned
this.
from the game,
It's-
like as if it was real
So
life.
I don't know
If
what
die in
you
real
think,
life,
but
nobody knows what
If you
happens
know
when-
anybody, I'll
when
show you a
we
few
die.
clips and things. So, you
So,
can
like,
see.
For all we know, there's nothing.
Yeah,
For all we
we'll
know,
chat.
we go somewhere else, but we can't come back. We don't know.
If you can
But
throw some
In
people's
this
I'm an-
boards
game,
I'm
and
an
that
things,
IG
game in
man.
Caprica, it's
I'd
like when
appreciate
you die in the game, then it's like
That's it.
you're done.
You're dead in real
You
life.
can't make a new avatar.
Yeah, no,
No, like you're still
That's
alive
sorta.
in real life,
Oh,
but you
okay,
can't
okay.
go back in the game. Like you're fucked.
Can't
That's
no.
retry it.
In
You
Sword
can't
Art, you
restart
die.
over. You can't respawn.
You die, you die.
You can't re-enter.
If you die,
can't
you
make
die.
a new avatar,
It's done.
Just go on with your fucking life.
And that's what scares me about artificial
Yeah.
intelligence.
There's be a lot of
And that's what scares me about VR.
Well, but we already talked about Skynet.
Just send them out every week.
I don't even just mean Skynet. Skynet's an
They've made money off
isolated
that
thing
shit.
from Terminator that's cool,
No,
and I
but
love
I'm
that
worried about
concept. And I
crazy
think it's a
quality
thing
it
that
is,
like
as long
could
as
be
you-
happening,
Nobody's- that's
whatever.
such a
People pay
real
for it, you
thing
get through
right
it, you
now
fail it, you suck.
that
You get through
most
it, you
people
pay.
are so blind to.
Well,
They're
Streamers
blind
are
to the
proud of
idea
shit,
that
for sure.
we are so
Because again, they can't go
controlled
back and cheat
by our
and do it
technology.
again,
Like,
there's no going
for
back.
instance, like he just told his phone to put 10 minutes on it when he could have just did it himself. You know what I mean? They take so much control, like having Alexa and people programming it to their whole entire house.
See, you also have to. Okay,
You
here's
know
the.
what I mean?
Here's you are
That's
right.
not AI,
No,
though.
but you are
It's
right.
the-
It's pre-programmed technology.
But it's a
realistically.
beginning.
Like,
It's
all
the
outdoor.
beginning.
Yeah.
It's a
That's what I
beginning
mean, right?
stage that eventually we could possibly get there in the next 50 years.
With these millennials,
So, like,
yeah, with the
you
kids
know,
that are
Iron Man,
younger
we
than
could
us,
get
they're
to
just
that
used
point,
to this
and
shit.
imagine
Yeah.
you're calling from your cell
No,
phone,
he has
like,
that
look at
technology. That runs
Roger's
through his
house,
helmet, runs through his house and shit.
where you can call you can
Like,
literally
that
flick
runs
your
off
light
its
on
own kind of brain
from your
idea,
phone,
realistically,
yeah.
like,
and do
works
all
with
like
him.
these are just
And you can have
precursors
something
to
similar
getting to that
now.
AI.
But it
and
doesn't work with
making
it works
that
with the
an
general
amalgamated
public more or less,
situation.
realistically.
The only thing about,
Because
the only
guidance-
thing about that shit that
I don't know about it being real.
is like
Look at it.
This
you know,
fucking guy.
No, because we're all
Just
connected to
look,
ourselves.
That's what I mean.
Look.
It was his
Not
No,
personality.
wait till he comes up. You'll see.
Amazon, it's not
You'll
connected
see.
to Apple, it's
He
not
does this
connected
shit all the time.
It's not generic.
All the time.
And me,
I don't know how he does
my
it.
thing about
He's
those
sitting there with a
things is
tub
that
full
I
of
don't
motherfucking
want my
ice cream,
data
just sitting there ready to chill and
owned
eat.
by somebody else.
He don't
I
even
wanna-
smoke weed.
like,
I
I'm
smoke
big on
weed.
privacy. I'm big on
Your life.
right? So,
No,
I
but
I don't use Siri. I don't have her.
Yeah, I don't-
have it on
And I was
my
gonna
phone.
say that too. I don't
I-
use that
it's
shit.
all
I
disabled on all
don't
my
ever
machines.
talk to my phone. Like
And
I
have
only
a
do
Google
it
Home
to show
thing.
people
I've
that
never
my phone
done
calls
that.
me Batman. That's the
Never.
only thing I've ever
I
used
never.
Siri
I
for.
have a Google Home.
Siri,
also
call me
listen
Batman.
to you.
From now on, I will call you
Yeah.
all
Batman.
day, every day.
Let's not even get
And then I'll say, Siri, what's my
But
name
again,
when I'm around
alright,
people. And, oh,
from
my name is
their
Batman.
business
That's it.
perspective, yeah.
That's
Again,
it.
do you think
I
those
don't use
business
it for
perspectives are
anything
realistically
else.
trying to take over your
No, I
world
use
and
Google.
reality and not
I
take over
use
your
it.
lives?
Use
No,
Google
they're
Voice.
only the
That's
only
how
reason
it
they
works.
do this to
See,
You know what I
here's
mean?
the thing.
create a
I
better
wanna
target
know
market,
what
create
something
an
is.
easier
I
target
want to
market for
spell
yourself.
something.
Here's
I
the
go to
thing.
Google Voice.
Everything
If my
easier for
son
everybody.
is using a
You
French
might
word that
be
he doesn't
like-
know,
You might
I
consider
feel
me
like
to
I
be
am
paranoid
detached
when I say
if I
this,
start
but
doing
it's
that.
I mean,
true shit.
there's a lot.
That
I
is
can't
what it
say- I
comes
can't
down
tell you
to
not
for
otherwise,
me.
but still.
I
Do you
am
know
being
what's going on in
detached
China
every
right now?
just every day,
No,
every
okay.
little bit
In China,
when I use this
Oh,
technology.
are you talking about the social points and stuff?
yes.
That shit's crazy, son.
In China,
That shit's crazy.
they are living in a state of mass surveillance where
That's
any
crazy.
and everything you do is fucking recorded. Any and everything you do is recorded. You go to the liquor store a little bit too much. You go to the bar a little bit too much. You're on camera everywhere you go. You're being watched and listened
Sounds like
to
Captain
everywhere
America to
you
me.
fucking go. This is 1984 shit. Okay. Now here's the thing.
Hydra.
This is
Or
the thing that
some-
people here don't fucking realize, right? And I think that one of the biggest reasons why they don't realize it is because it's not right in front of their face and they don't see it and they don't know how these technology companies work here. They don't know how the laws work here and they don't know how corporate structures work here. So here's the difference. In China, it's all done by the state for the state because they live
By
in
the
another
government.
communist country. Okay, so it's open communism unless you are in Hong Kong, I think it is. They're like a mix between capitalism and communism. But anyway, over there, it's all the government doing this.
Mhm.
Here, it's going to be a little
Or-
bit different, but it's going to be the same
Pan.
thing, right? In a sense. The only difference is that it won't be the government doing it, it'll be the corporations doing it proxy for the government. So the mass surveillance will be this, we're already under this mass
Yeah.
surveillance. The only difference is that it's not directly done by the government, it's done by proxy by corporations. So here's the thing, if you notice since the 90s, since the internet started getting bigger and whatnot, America, Canada, Britain, all these other first world countries, they've all been putting through new laws, right? I can't cite them all. But
Regulations and shit
there are
like that.
just
I don't
laws
understand.
and regulations in the internet and like things you can't say and blah, 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 and hate speech laws and this and that, okay? So as time progresses, they keep putting forth more rules and regulations. And corporations like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, whatever, blah blah blah, comply with those laws, and they
Well, they're happy to
they-
comply because our laws can't catch up with technology.
no, they can't.
The
But
internet-
wait, let me finish. Let me finish real quick. So, what we will most likely see happen, okay? This will be most likely, and I'm not the only one saying this. What will most likely happen is that it'll get to the point where governments or government entities that are like contractors for the government, we're talking like the intelligence and surveillance agencies and so on, will be able to, which they already do, get data from these corporations.
yeah.
Well, they do.
And they're already doing
Apple, like admittedly says that they give your information. Like,
Yes.
The government asks.
I hail iPhone all day, but like
So,
I
yeah,
know
so this
that
brings me back
the
to
cops have
exactly
my
what you-
whatever
you
I do.
don't like it. Why do you fear of what you do?
I don't fear what I do.
Then why do you?
What
is the
but
wrong
here's
with
the
it?
thing though. Here's the thing though, is that what people seem to forget, I don't know why, is that every human being has the right to privacy.
Yes.
Okay.
Or should have the right to
Ease.
privacy. That's what she's
That-
should.
No, I mean,
Has
tell
the
you why.
right to, it's a human right.
Yeah, sure.
People-
Let's bring rights
Privacy
into this. I mean,
is
that's
a
bullshit.
human
There's
right.
no doubt. I think.
I mean,
but to
that's
answer
going
your
off of
question-
fear. I mean, like you fear. I mean, there's
It's
something
not-
there.
No, it's not.
No,
It's
why?
not.
No, but again, why?
It's-
No, I'm jumping in now. Sorry. Why do you not want them to be
Because why do I
gathering
want
information?
somebody to control my destiny?
Because that's what it is. No, not controlling your
No, but they
destiny.
control.
No.
You
Why
gotta
are you
look at
not
something.
listening
I love
at
this.
it? Why
Hold on a
are
second.
you not listening?
No, but hold on a second. Think about it. If you give away your privacy, someone could literally just turn around and say you committed this crime because they have all your information. They could make
No
you
matter what,
disappear.
that's what it is.
Information can be
That's
altered.
what it is.
Yeah, but I want to have control over that and not give it away to somebody else where they
You
can just tell
don't
me
anymore. That's just it. That's the idea. But I mean, like, this mean, why do you fear of whatever you do is something
See,
why do
that
you
right there-
fear
See,
that
that-
it's going to be something
See,
wrong?
To be honest,
It's
like,
a
I'm
devil's-
hearing
it's a
you say
devil's-
that, and I'm
and
like,
I know
how are you not?
But
I'm-
here-
No,
what
but
he's
why do you
saying-
fear that it's something wrong?
Here's the thing.
okay,
What
It's
he's
a
saying,
devil's
a
advocate
lot
argument.
of people are saying, I've seen countless amount of people on my Facebook say this, or just on social media in general. They say things like, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, then why do
Then
you
what's the
care?
problem?
Then what's the problem? Okay. And I mean, like,
Yeah, no, there's a problem.
that right there, what that leads to, this is the thing,
It's a slippery
is
slope.
that people don't understand
Standing on this
exactly
hill and
how
it feels
slippery
pretty
a slope
flat.
that this shit is. When people start thinking that way, no, real shit. When people start thinking that way, that's when you get again the slippery slope. Where does that slippery slope end?
No,
Where does
okay.
it lead to?
So then
It leads to
let him
you're
get
a
it.
futuristic.
communist
You're a
China.
futuristic. You said it though before. You're a futuristic guy right here. You said you're a futuristic guy though. Whereas,
Yeah.
like, you literally have no independence. I mean, you literally don't see any hope in any of the futuristic technologies. Right there, saying it. You don't believe
No,
in that.
I know.
that's not
They're
true
the
at
only
all.
way to make technology better is knowing what we need and what we want.
No. I think
I
you're
disagree.
missing what he's saying. He's talking about
It's a valid
Privacy.
point.
But
If you're
again,
talking
we
about-
have no
you're talking
goddamn
about-
rights. We
you're
literally
talking
have
about
nothing.
techno-
Look, he's got me live on the internet
You're
right now.
talking
And
about-
already
but
got
that's
the
my
camera
choice.
across the street
But
looking
that's
at me.
my choice.
that's by choice.
By the camera looking at me from
Wait,
across the street.
wait. Hold on.
That's not
Wait.
my choice.
Wait a second.
Exactly. I mean, that's what I mean. No matter what.
No, but that's the
Hold
thing.
up, no, let him get his point out. I want
Say
to
it.
hear what
Go
you
ahead.
have to say.
So, I don't know if you've been following this recently, but, and now this is just in terms of privacy and the way that things can be like moved. And I've got like 3 examples kind of really quick. One, the conversation right now about foreign entities messing with elections, right?
Yeah.
I have
Now,
no
in
idea
that-
how we got here.
Yeah. But you know what's funny? You know what though? We need to be here.
Yes.
I can talk about comics
God,
all
man.
day long.
No, that's
but
cool.
this
That's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
This shit is the end game.
Yep.
See what I just did? I mean, at least I got that one.
No, you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. Preach, brother. Preach.
So, currently, right now, they are seeing bots. The bots, as in like
Yeah.
bots, right? Infiltrate our Facebook in being Canadians
Oh yeah.
to influence our upcoming election in Canada. Now, this is happening all around the world. Now, the problem is that because technology is so far ahead and our laws are trying to catch up right now, and this is where it's kind of that part. But anyways, I'm just not saying a yes or I'm just stating the situation that is what's happening. Our governments actually can't do anything about it because those corporations are
It's
saying
influencers. I mean, it's just an idea of an influencer.
well, the corporations aren't giving away their certain things because they're not giving away the information on how that can happen because of what's fucked, privacy. Now, this is what's fucked because we need our privacy. But then you have this situation. So I'm just saying that's one situation. I'm not saying whatever about that, but that's the one situation that's happening literally right now. And that's happening around the entire world. You can see what's happening. There is a trend in terms of politics and in terms of the entire world. Things are becoming more isolated, and that's another issue altogether. But in terms of being able to rig elections through our social media, it's fucking crazy. Now, they say like they can't stop it because the corporations are like, well, we don't want to give away the privacy. At the same time, because we've already given away so much privacy. Wait. Because we've given away so much privacy, we actually can be influenced.
Well,
So
the
that's-
reason with the problem with Facebook is you're the product of Facebook. Facebook sells you.
Yes.
Anything free to you
Anything
is
free
and-
is
you're the
Yeah.
product.
You're the product.
That's just how
And-
it works, man.
choice, privacy. Anyways, so one. So there's that. Now there's that, but this is where it gets scary in terms of privacy. So my mom today, a friend of mine sends me an email and is like, I think your mom's account got hacked. My mom, barely online, whatever. But this directly goes into those things, into what we're talking about in terms of these the influencers and trying to get into our elections. So her account got cloned. And my mom, if my friend didn't notice a message to her, and my mom didn't notice, and none of her friends noticed, there's this other person operating as my mother to say whatever she wants. Now let's say whatever they want. Now let's say that person does and says some fucked up shit. And because of how much privacy I go ahead and give away. And then on paper, they're like, well, wait a second. You did this, you did this, you did this, you did this. And you're like, no, I didn't. But that wasn't me. But
It is
online, it is you. That is you. So like,
that is your digital imprint.
I understand. Like,
I mean, we have a lot of protection these days, and I don't know a single soul that has lost their life to this shit.
our elections are being influenced.
It's a big
That's
thing.
fucking
Okay.
huge.
Because
Okay,
your
here's the thing,
part of your argument is that
That's
this is
huge.
how they're
But that's the
freaking keeping
same
us
thing
structured.
as a sign on the side of
That's
the road.
No,
an
it's not.
influential
It's not.
idea.
It's not.
No, but you
It's
gotta
not.
look at people getting
We're
their
advertising
Fake news.
No,
I
but-
don't watch TV. Where am I gonna get my news from?
No,
When
but
I'm
look
on
at
social
identity
media,
theft. No,
realistically,
but
right?
look
That's
at
the only
identity
place
theft.
I'm gonna
When
find
somebody steals your
influential news.
identity, when somebody steals your identity,
See, that's what I'm talking about. Is that personal identity?
that shit
Still.
destroys your
Influential
world.
news
can
is
destroy you.
what is something that people
Because
need
if
to
somebody
understand
turns
how to
around and goes,
point
"Yo,
out
I just took
realistically.
50K
And
from
no
you."
doubt, people
But-
need to be smarter. There's
I
no
hear you,
doubt.
I hear you. But that has nothing
No,
to do
but
with
people now look
taking
at
of
identity theft.
information.
But it's
Somebody
all
comes
connected,
and takes $100,000 of your hard.
They make you think
They
otherwise
have
and make you
your
think what you want.
information where they can take your credit,
They tell you
they
you
can fuck
want.
with your mortgage,
Basically,
they
that's
can do
influence.
all that shit. In the end, the shit
That's
that
not
you
your
got to go through?
information.
No, but the shit that you have to go
No, sorry,
through
but he was
to
talking about-
find to go through and say, I didn't make this purchase.
I didn't
Someone
do this, I
stole
didn't do this, I didn't do this,
$100,000 from me. I'm never gonna get back. I gotta go to court. I gotta go to court. I gotta go in debt. I gotta do all this shit to have some piece of life at the end of that tunnel. And it comes back to privacy.
Mhm.
It comes back to, like, for instance, a lot of people don't know in Canada,
This is generally how it goes.
you can't. It's illegal to smoke on the street.
Yeah, it is not.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's illegal, but nobody knows that because why? Now you are a second-class citizen because your parent was an immigrant, and now we are considered second-rate citizens. For what reason? Because and me and you have this conversation all the time, when they want to bring in martial law, They have every right to do it in Canada because we don't have a government that looks out for us.
I don't agree with that. That's for sure. But
Well, then why am I second? Why are you and me a second-class citizen? So when it comes to martial law, they go, "Hey, you know what? We're going to turn around. There's a 9 o'clock curfew. Anybody
Yeah, I
under
mean,
the age of
I don't
25."
agree with Ford. I don't agree with Trump. I mean, like,
No,
that's-
but they've done it
that's-
before. I was around. You will probably remember this. Remember when we had the female premier, and she wanted to change the young offender law? Buddy, that was the biggest mistake of her career because people came at her like, "You can't fucking do that shit." She put a 9 o'clock curfew. If you are under the age of 18, you must be in your house or you will be arrested. They were like, "You're fucked."
It wasn't that strong, but I know what you mean.
But
That's an exaggeration of that law.
but it's
I
a
understand.
but
Well, what is it?
they showed
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
they showed you
That's
what
the,
one
that's just
person
what I mean, corruption of power, yes.
But see,
Well,
but
that's
but I
not-
think that's
we're,
where
we're
it's
getting
like.
away from the point where we were talking about is like, okay,
But the shit is all
this person
connected.
with the
It
corrupted
is.
power, they're not taking advantage of your personal information. They're just fucking making you believe what they want to believe because they want it to be what they want.
No, but they are
Perception
actually
is reality.
taking. But they are
Like,
taking.
look at Ford.
in-
Look at Ford. What does Ford want? He only wants what he's going to benefit him once he's done. He took away property taxes. He took away a bunch of fucking shit where rich people don't have to pay. He's a rich person. He's going to leave this position and be in the fucking top spot,
He's
not
wrong.
paying a damn thing for the next 10 years because that next person in the line has to fix it all.
But it's the,
We
but it's
really
the
break
same
down politicians,
thing
'cause,
over
like,
and over
look,
again.
Here's the
It's
thing.
not,
Here's
nothing
the
to do
thing.
with your personal information.
I want to weigh in because I haven't said anything at all. during
He's taking
anything.
advantage because he can.
I've just
easily
been
get
letting all you
views
guys
on it.
talk,
He brought up
and I
the
wanna
road
talk
prices
now.
idea to just make his fucking
Hey!
law about getting rid of the health fucking
I
system.
totally want to talk right now, so just let me.
Fuck that. Bullshit.
You guys are right. And this privacy, look, I think back to the first time when the Kinect, the Xbox Kinect, when that shit first came out, okay? And I went up to my homie Benson's house
Listening.
to check that shit out. And he's like, "Yeah, I use it all the time." And I'm like, I'm looking at the technology and I'm like, so this thing watches everything. And I've watched the reviews on it. I paid attention to everything. It's like, it watches everything. It pays attention to everything, even when you're not in the room or whatever the hell. Like it scans your room and pays attention to everything that's going on in your room and creates algorithms based off of everything it sees and all of your emotions and everything that you do when you're using the technology in order to establish what you like and what you
Mhm.
want and all of these nice things, right? I'm afraid of that. I don't like that.
Well, we should be
Okay.
afraid of that.
So I'm like, I could be on the couch with whoever doing whatever, and my Kinect is sitting there, and it can just decide it wants to.
Well, it's
I
the
don't-
same thing with these, right?
Oh,
This is
oh,
for a
of
while,
course.
for a long time.
Oh, of course.
People would just put tape over it. Like,
Yeah.
I still have
Like-
tape on mine. Just
I don't know
Right.
who's watching on the other end.
Put it this way. Zuckerberg, he has tape on his laptop.
Exactly.
Like, and
I work in tech. I live online.
yeah,
Like my job is online.
Yeah.
Everything I do is online.
it's a
I
it's a
usually
scary
have tape
concept,
on
man.
mine.
It's a really
Well,
really scary concept.
Well, I think
I
it's
was looking for phone. You know, I was looking for phones. I'm like, I don't really often. I'm not one of those people who go around taking pictures of every fucking thing. I'm taking videos or whatever. I don't do that. So I was sitting at the crib one day. I was like, why do I have a phone with 2 cameras on it? I don't need it. If I want to take a picture, then I have a camera. I can use that camera. But how often do I use this fucking thing? This camera? I hardly ever do. So I was like, you can buy a phone without a camera on it.
can't.
No.
No such thing anymore.
Well, unless you're
I
willing
think they have like
unless you're
some
willing to
on order.
downgrade.
You gotta order. There's like some different like they do have them, but they're like craft beer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
If
you
you
gotta
can
go
order
find it.
one, whatever, it's probably some shitty Android
Yeah.
phone. But they don't make it en masse because look,
Because not everyone
nobody
wants
has
that.
it.
they
Yeah.
and again, I know some of the stuff when you talk about it, some people they think that you sound like a paranoid freak, right? But here's the thing. You ever heard the analogy of the boiling frog? You take a frog, you throw it in a pot, and you put the pot on like 1, okay? And the frog, it raises its temperature
Temperature
with
to
the
match the
water
water.
to match the water. And then a half an hour later, you put it on 2. And then a half an hour, you keep going. Every half an hour, you put it up 1 fucking notch. And eventually it'll get to like maybe 7 or whatever. And the frog will be expending every ounce of the energy that it has to keep its body in sync with the water until it gets to that one notch too much and it's cooked. That's us. Straight up. That is fucking us.
Yeah.
Because this stuff happens fast, but it happens slow. Remember when eBay first came out and everybody was like, I'm never putting my credit card online. Now everybody does
Their
it.
credit line online.
Now
Instagram,
everybody
yeah.
does it.
I do.
Right? I do with certain
It's on
things,
there.
but I usually
I do with certain things.
Mine is funny because I don't have my credit
I
card.
will
on
use
there, but I
somebody
do
else
have
for
so
my,
right now
I will use somebody else.
So right now we're all sitting here
bank works
thinking
online.
like we don't want to give up our privacy.
But I don't.
But we
that's the
already
thing,
have
I've
one
used cash
candidate that
for so
does.
long. Like my son
And
made a joke
eventually
about it,
everybody's just
and
gonna
he's
be
just
like,
like, "You have a debit card?"
have cameras in my
You
house.
did, you?
Well, it's funny.
You have to have
And
Because I always-
I wanted to
I
answer your
think that's
question
I think
earlier.
that's a little
He's
extreme.
questioning you like.
I wanted to
have
answer your
one?
question
Yeah, because
earlier,
he's
though.
just like, because he knows his mom
But you
does,
said you're like,
'cause they'll
well,
go to
why
the
do
bank, but
people
it's
want
like,
to do that? And the
I
answer
always
actually
have
is simple.
cash.
It's control.
Anytime you see
No,
me, I have
ease.
cash. I don't fuck
People
with it, and he
will
knows
let that
I don't
happen
fuck with
because
that
you know
shit.
what?
Well, yeah.
You
So
know
when it
what?
comes to
It's
social media,
really
he
simple
knows
to
I
just
don't
go
fuck with
click,
it.
click.
It's
and then I
comfortable.
saw something.
That's why
I
people
mean,
do
I,
it.
It's
I, I,
comfortable.
That's
I
why
use my
people
credit card
would
to
do
do
it.
stuff
But
online.
why do
I am
why do
selective
these
on the sites I
corporations
use.
and
Oh,
government
control.
entities
Amazon
charge
money.
you
Oh,
for
that-
no
that?
problem
that's
using
no
Amazon.
question.
I think it goes deeper
Security
than that.
programming, though. He is one of the richest
Okay.
people in the world.
We got to have a flow of
The technology
conversation.
that's-
We really do.
The security programming for Amazon, at least. Yes, maybe it is infiltrated, but not like a China website or something.
Right.
Like
No, it's fine.
That-
We
that-
can
This is
discuss
also,
it.
by
We
the
can
way,
discuss it.
this is
Right.
also what made Matrix such
That's
a
going right to China.
brilliant movie.
That
Yeah.
was a really good
It's on a
Why
level
you
because,
one of
like,
the best movies.
honestly,
Because
because
you're getting
what
Amazon
we're talking
paid for a
about,
membership.
they were
That's what it
talking
was on,
about,
right?
and it's
And that's
like,
good.
what's that's now literally 20 years ago?
Yes,
Literally
yes.
20 years ago,
I mean,
right?
yes.
And then Orson Welles was talking
You have
about
to-
that
I mean, if you're not paying for it, you're the
before
product.
1984. So, like,
Hold
this
up.
is not a new
Flow of
idea.
conversation.
Dangerous.
We got to get that. We got to get that
Dangerous.
because we're arguing. We're
Orson
arguing.
Welles.
No, we're
No, the most craziest shit is that here's Orson Welles in 1950 something.
Or
Talking about what we're
Orwell.
talking about right
Talking
now.
about
Orson Welles.
George Orwell.
George Orwell.
Yes.
Sorry,
George Orwell.
it's George Orwell. Yeah,
Yeah.
Orson Welles is the
1984.
is the time is the somebody else. And
Yes.
yeah, sorry, but yes.
And the thing about it is that when he started talking about 2019, 2018, and he's dead on the mark, he's talking from 1950 something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
You got the cameras or anything?
it's kind of like
I got a
I do
popcorn.
now.
it's,
Don't kill me. Are you really doing that right now? Because I didn't think you'd do that. I just don't think you'd do that. You don't strike me as the type to be like, no, bro, I'm gonna take one for the team. I'm
Does
just
anyone
put the
have
camera in my
a-
hand. I got this.
I got one in my hand now.
Does anyone have an Android charger?
Android charger.
actually,
Although to be honest, I should
Yeah.
probably cut. Truthfully.
Yeah, I'm not staying too long either. I'm trying to finish.
I'm good.
My apologies. Look, he's not wrong though. Politicians at the top, like some, obviously they have some sort of vested interest in whatever's going on with
They
all of
sometimes
our
they
clicking,
only want what they
all of
want.
our
Just trying
clicking
to
or
get
whatever.
this.
But if essentially at their base, at their core, they all just want what they want, the same as us.
They just want to get there.
Yeah.
Of course.
Everybody just
Well,
wants it.
it's-
No,
it's
it's facts,
different.
bro.
It's-
No,
it's-
it's
this is-
The
facts.
this
best
is-
politicians
this-
are the ones that
This
go
is
to the
the
extent
thing
to
where I
get it.
ask people.
well, because they're in a position to get it. We're not in a position to get it.
because all of this
It's
comes in.
easier
like,
for Trump to
essentially?
get leverage over rich man.
I gotta give you the question,
Clinton.
right?
Because I mean, just
Because all of
his-
it comes into
No,
how
because
we
you got to
interact
look
with
at it
each
from a
other.
Hold up.
standpoint.
Seriously,
Commerce.
we got to keep flow of conversation. Please. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to do that.
What?
Go.
Okay.
Yeah, keep one
So,
conversation.
yeah,
I have been asking people this question a lot, and it's not a trick question.
You go next.
It's just whatever, right? But I say because politics and laws and all of this stuff, it all boils down to a few things. One of those things is economics, right? How we interact with each other, right? So I always say, well, who do you trust? Do you trust corruptible humans? Because power corrupts absolutely, or absolute power
Sure.
corrupts absolutely.
I love that place.
Or
Mm,
do you trust
Loves
math?
it.
Hard math.
bro.
Math can't be
doesn't lie.
corruptible.
Okay,
Math doesn't
sure.
lie.
Okay, but you're asking me like about people. You're asking me who I hate. Like,
No.
do I trust? Who do I
Trust.
trust? Who do I trust?
Just trust and hate are two different.
No. Sorry, I went off base. I'm thinking because I'm thinking about what you're saying, and I don't like where you're going because it's like you're talking. That's one singular course of people. Like not everybody is bad.
Not everybody's bad.
Children aren't children.
But everybody has the potential to be corrupted.
Sure,
But at the
everybody
same time,
does have that
We're
potential.
at a point where we don't have a choice of who we're going to be corrupted by, but we have a choice of making the decision between a small few.
Yes, and that is just as bad.
Oh yeah, it's fucking horrible.
Because
if I was allowed to go to a
because
vote
we
and
get-
vote for myself, I would fucking vote for myself every day. Like,
everybody would, right?
Like realistic.
And everybody would think,
But
well,
again,
like,
you're only limited to what you can vote for on that sheet of paper.
exactly, and like politics really works in a trichotomy. Everybody thinks it's a dichotomy. It's really a trichotomy. But at the end of the day, if you take that trichotomy, we're really in a small portion of the triangle. And inside of that small portion of the triangle,
What do you mean in terms of the trichotomy? What are those three elements?
it all boils down to philosophical views. Like I forget what they are off the top of my head, but Darwinism, and there's another two.
So survival of the fittest.
I'm not going
Survival of the
to
fittest.
disagree with survival of the fittest. I was
There's-
like,
and then there's two more. And then it goes, and then inside of that you'll find more nuances inside of the triangle.
Okay.
And I forget what they are off the top of my head, and I don't want to paraphrase either.
Hmm.
I got so much other shit going
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
projects that I'm building and a corporation that I'm trying to launch and everything. But
plug yourself, man.
yeah. I won't drop any names yet, but like, so inside of that, what we're presented with every election is you got
Bullshit. Right?
left and you got right.
Hey,
Choose
man.
one. Here's the
South
thing.
Park.
Here's the
nailed
thing.
it every
Is that they're
year
all
ago.
brethren. They're all cool with each other. These people fuck with each other. You know what I'm
Of course they
saying?
fuck with each other.
That's like me and Gar saying, okay, yo, Gar, this is what's up. Yo, and it's not even just in politics. People in entertainment do it. People that are in a spotlight do it. They fake beef all the time.
I mean, yes,
They fake beef all the time.
but they gotta stick to their. They gotta stick to their.
So it's like me and Gar coming together, say, yo, watch. Me and you're gonna act like we're not cool with each other, right? But
I wouldn't go that
you're
far.
gonna cater
It's
to
not all
one
the time.
group.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cater
It's
to
not
the other
even
group.
catering. I don't think. I don't even think
And
it's a catering.
your group is gonna follow you. My group's gonna follow me, and they're gonna be at war with each other.
Use-
but
use
they're
an-
gonna be
use an example,
sustaining
please.
us in some way, whether
No,
it's
but look at
monetary
Hillary.
or whatever.
Look at Hillary and
we do
Donald
our
Trump.
thing.
They're not cool.
Hold up.
I mean, like they
Give
could
me
be
an
more.
example of where
Before
the
before
minority
they got
government.
into- before he became a politician, they were friends.
Yes.
They were business associates.
Yep.
they were
He was a
Once.
Democrat too.
Nobody was friends with Trump. before
He
that.
gave money.
Yeah,
he
they
gave
were.
money to their parties. Now, once he became, I'm now going to become a politician, we can't be friends because you're now coming in my pool. And my pool is for the people that I fuck with. I've come to your house and I'll come
Every government
party
still
at
has to
your
stick to
place,
their beliefs,
but I'm not
though,
staying
right?
there.
Yes, they could
So
do
this is
something.
what I was
maybe
gonna
a
say.
tax or
Just
something to
Hold
benefit
on,
them. They
Go
could,
ahead.
they could do something to maybe benefit them in the same idea, where like it could be like one government's for the kids kind of thing. Yes, they can help out with the kids, whatever. But at the same time, every government has their own direction that they stick to.
So this is
Realistically.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
That's why they have the different names. Like that's
This
like,
is what I was gonna say. Yeah, because I'm with you.
no
I
matter what
think.
they
But you
do
gotta remember-
still
you
has to
gotta
be in their
remember, though,
own
is that-
direction.
Hold up. What you got?
Oh no, just like I think sometimes it's like that, but I think a lot of the time it's like it's the same way that you and I can straight up disagree on things,
Yeah.
but we can still be friends.
Oh.
And I've got my interests and you've got your interests,
Mhm.
but we can still be friends.
Yeah.
We can have
But
And even
I
work
don't
together.
see an
exactly,
I've never
but
seen
we
an
can have a
example of government-
conflicting. We could have a straight up conflicting
Mhm.
interests,
Mhm.
but it's that idea of like leaving. It's kind of like you see it in sports all the time. Where like, yo, when I'm on the floor, I am not your friend. I don't fuck with you at all.
Mhm.
Off the floor,
We good.
yo,
Yeah.
I'll see your kids. It's all
We
good.
good.
That stories like that come out from government all the time, and frankly,
But yeah,
really,
yeah.
I actually think that's how we should be working. And I think I don't know if we
Who's the
should
lead?
really be working in a society where that we cannot see eye to eye to the point where you can't be friends with somebody you see eye to eye. Like I don't think that's actually a good example.
It's very,
So-
it's all very old school. It's very, not even like old school, fucking.
Well,
And
to disagree, you can disagree.
I agree with you 110%.
yeah,
I've always been a strong
Sorry.
promoter of like having people around you that you
to
don't
disagree
agree
with it, absolutely. But
Right?
I think it's
Because-
important.
because number one, when you have like, okay, human beings are fundamentally, right, we're all different, right? Like by nature we're different.
Mhm.
By nature we're all different. We're if there was to be the case where we were supposed to work in some collective hive mind, then nature
That's
would have
what we
made us
did,
that.
exactly. Yeah,
Right.
we're not like that.
We grow by disagreement because you can
Absolutely.
take one view here, one view there, put them together,
We grow by
and then
competition.
you make a new idea from the two.
Yeah.
I think though that in the current day, what's happening is that people have lost their malleability.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Things
for
are
sure.
so polarized.
People are so
Exactly.
polarized,
Yeah.
We're still stuck
and-
on the past.
and
the idea of way it used to do it and still
Some-
using it today.
so I think people are becoming highly influenced by the wrong things and not influenced by the right things, right? People are so, like you said, polarized that like they believe this and that and this and that, and if you
And they're the
and if
worst.
you disagree,
Yeah,
then
you're the
you're the
worst.
devil,
Yeah.
you're Hitler, you're a fucking the worst,
Yeah.
the devil himself.
You know what
You know what I'm
kind of
saying? Like
blows
that's
my
how
mind in
people
that
are
sense?
thinking now.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like I will be the first to be like, he knows. I was that kid that like my mom sent me with those like ribbons. Like there was the violence against women, there was this month, there's the day against racism. I was that kid in, I'm not even joking, like grade 3 who came with the ribbons and the pens and to be like, just so you know, it's this month. Like I was that kid. So you know, I whatever, I'm a socialist, whatever. Okay, whatever.
Nothing wrong with that. That's good.
I'm liberal and blah 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 blah.
Force something on you. That's
Yeah.
fucking good.
With that said,
good wise.
because I'm a humanist, because that's what it comes down to. What it comes. But this is what also kind of is bananas right now. So, you know, it's interesting to talk to people who were young in the 70s, and they were talking like that was the generation. They were sure that they were going to change the world. They were sure. They were like,
they did.
we're on it. Well, they did, but we're still fucking here
But the
in terms
thing-
of climate change, in terms of
But
energy,
the
in terms of all
problem,
those
the
things.
problem is that what I feel about the generation, what we did is that they left what they
We didn't take it. We didn't go with it.
What they taught, they're like, okay, I'm gonna teach this to you. And when our generation came, it's like, no, motherfucker,
No.
I'm out for me.
Yes,
and
yes,
then after you look back and you
capitalism
start
got heavy.
and you start looking at the kids and you start looking at them and they're like so disrespectful,
Yeah.
got no manners. You're like, whoa, what happened? Wait a second, that's your fault because you had that OG. You had that OG to tell you what was right from wrong. We had a world that told you from right to wrong. Now we live in a world where it's up to you to make a decision
The lines are
whether
very
you're going to
blurry.
drink this
Yeah.
Kool-Aid or
But-
you're going to drink this
Exactly.
Kool-Aid.
But I think what's also what I was going to kind of get at is like you went from the time of
Morality is
these lovey, super positive hippies who wanted to change the world for good, and that same population, by definition, are the ones using the word hate so
So
much. Like it was wild when Trump was elected because
It was really
and this
crazy. I don't know how we got here.
And I'll tell you, man, I think we're in a dangerous time, and we're in an extremely interesting time. We're actually going to see we're going to see a lot of things happen in this time. But this is what's nuts about this. Trump came along, and like those, and I'm saying Trump came along, but he's more of like he is
He's
the
a catalyst,
prognosis of symptoms.
He's
There
he's
was
the eye
there's
opener.
not yeah, he's the eye opener.
Because
So there's
what
all
I-
these symptoms.
Because what I say to people about him is
Hold your
He
point, because I
took-
want to hear your point of view
No,
too,
but
because
he
you're the
took-
different demographic in the
no,
room
but
right
he
now.
took the mask.
No,
He took the
no,
mask
I'm
off.
not- that's not, yeah.
He took the mask off,
My
where you
opinion's
will
just that the
never
government's been
ever.
going about it
They could never
wrong
go
at
back.
this time.
Oh yeah, no, exactly.
He took the mask off.
Which
America
is
could
bad.
never ever go back to what was. If Hillary
However,
got
though,
in,
that's also exactly.
but if Hillary got in, the mask would have
would have
stayed
stayed
on,
and exactly
and
that's why I'm
everything
like.
would have been.
That's why I'm like, it's actually a really interesting time. I think like
That's the only. That's why I say is the only good
yeah,
just
that
thinking
ever
about
happened.
future songs
It's almost
right
like-
now.
Trump coming in.
it's almost like they like the Wizard of
It's
Oz.
all
Yes.
full circle.
It's like you
right
now
now.
know that he's nobody.
Yes.
He is
And-
nothing. He is a regular fucking.
Shout out to
human being.
Future.
Yeah. And I think what's crazy about that is like, so you have the hippies who are like, the hippies now are the left saying, they're saying how they hate this. Like, it's kind of like, and this kind of will bring all those things we were talking about together. And this situation kind of made me not laugh, I don't know, but just kind of blew my mind. So do you remember a couple months ago, there was those kids with the MAGA hats and they're talking to the,
Oh, the
Yeah.
Indian.
the Indian guy. Okay. To paraphrase that, or to summarize that Coles Notes situation, it was so a video came out. See the white kids with the hat, and they're in the face of this Native American, and everyone was like, "Oh, these fuck kids, they're the worst." And online, these peace-loving, liberal-loving people that
They're talking the
That-
most shit,
they were
bro.
like, they were saying, they're like, "Yo, they should hunt down that kid and do."
It's a fire
And
sale
I'm
out
like,
here.
and it's like
advocating for.
I mean,
to
there
find
wasn't
a
even people
child.
that were
Find this
possibly
kid.
advocating. There was people that are just
And-
interneters.
and
Just,
beat him
just-
up.
yeah.
And this is what's wild. And this
People
is
just
what's
got
wild.
emotional
about
over
that.
that
Hold
video.
Yes, I know, but it was
Comes
it was
back to
like
drinking the Kool-Aid.
it was
No, it does. It's bro, so
I
full
say-
circle.
I say this often,
Straight up.
and if you don't understand the term of why I say the Jim Jones theory, is the minute that you do not agree, you have to drink the Kool-Aid. If you don't drink the Kool-Aid, you now are not a part of this. And that's the thing. And it's a terrible, terrible situation what we live in this time, because there was a teacher and
You
he
know,
was
this-
saying he
I
didn't
got
want to
something.
go.
well, I still need
It
to
was,
finish the interesting thing about that story, but
It was, what was it? It was a black holiday. And he sat there going, I personally don't think that these students need this holiday. And he wasn't wrong. It's just his opinion.
yeah,
But they boycotted this teacher.
yeah, like
And they're like, we're gonna get him fired.
Yep.
And we're gonna go in the hallways and we're gonna rant and rave because he's sitting there saying that people shouldn't be. What are you
and
fighting
I
for?
think it's nuts because it's
What are
to
you
fucking sit on
fighting
your
for?
ass.
yeah. And this is what
Meaningless.
bothered me about that specific situation, though. And everyone's like losing their minds. First off, even if this was a grown ass man, all those responses were super exaggerated, super out of control.
Do you feel
Here's the
majority
other
of
thing.
responses are the people that actually are the ones that need to say it, or it's just people fucking on the internet saying it?
Oh,
People fucking on the internet.
people fucking on the internet. There's no doubt about that. With that said, though, news outlets,
Yeah.
everybody's
I mean, like,
going and saying this.
I
But
feel
here's
like
the thing.
majority of
Wait,
the people that should say something, they won't say something because
Yes.
they just stick it in their head and they just leave it alone because it's not worth
Yes.
the time.
Now, hold on.
Because
Wait.
those people that,
Hold up,
that
hold up,
want,
hold up.
want to say something against it, what happens to them?
Yeah, I get, yeah.
They get
I mean, it's
fired,
not
they
worth
get
their
harassed,
price.
they
It's
get
not worth it.
stalked, they get fucking
not
all
worth
this
it,
other
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
So what do?
But
It's just like that
They
lady that gave the
disengage-
finger to Trump,
they
and now all of a sudden a
disengage
photo
from
popped up on her.
society and
Yeah.
they say fuck it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: Garcia talks about the Kool-Aid all the time, and me and Garcia both talk about the Kool-Aid all the time, like when we talk to each other, right? And it's getting to the point, just like we're talking about the polarization. It's getting to the point where we're starting to live in some type of like fucking backwards society where up is down and down is up and right is left and left is right and nobody knows what the fuck to do. So the people that want to say something about it or have something to say about it that goes against what the rest of these fucking clowns are saying, they just say, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna disengage and let these people burn it all to the ground and figure out how to find their, I guess, tribe, if you
But-
want to call it that.
Yeah, I think like what was crazy about that situation, and this is the symptom of what we're seeing all over the place. When you were 15, 16, how much dumb, stupid shit did you do? Shit that you were now you're like, well, I wouldn't fucking do that now. Like, I mean, like,
No, he's right.
no. And I'm saying, like,
I
wait,
agree with him,
look,
but
I'm
I
just
agree
saying,
with him
look,
at the same
wait,
time.
no, I know.
See,
And
right
I
there.
know.
Because
And I, like, I know.
It'll be the same
Wait.
It'll be the same thing 10 years from now when you're sitting there thinking, well, man, when I was in my 30s, I did some dumbass shit.
Yeah, so that's me.
Okay,
So
but
it's easy
no,
to do something
I
as
know,
stupid when I
but
was
like,
16
wait,
as I am
just
right
hear me
now.
out, because I'm not trying to go with semantics. I'm trying to
Yeah.
actually make a point here. But my
I
point
know,
is
we keep on
that,
butting in on you.
well, my point is that it was a fucking child. That's my point.
Yeah.
It's a
yeah.
child, and as adults,
Mhm.
rather than using logic,
Yeah.
logic,
Logic is dead.
rather than being
Logic
like,
is fucking dead.
rather than being like, one, first off, we don't have the
But
whole
it took
story.
you to be a
First
kid
off,
to realize because you did it, you didn't get in fucking the worst trouble ever. You fucking went home, you lived your life, and you went to school the next damn day.
No, not for that kid. That kid fucking
Hold
got
on.
told what to say. When you saw his interview,
afterwards, no, yeah, for
Wait,
sure.
what were we
You
talking
see-
about
if
here?
you
Now we're
see-
never under-
if you
Oh,
saw
he's
his
going
interview,
back to the MAGA kids.
Yeah, and that's what
If
I'm
you-
talking about.
if
It's kind of
you-
like, oh, sorry, I'm just gonna finish my point.
Yeah,
that was
My point was like,
something else. I mean, like talk about like just doing something like it's doing something that you would do when you were 16 that you would do still today.
The thing
Well,
is, the
it's
kid didn't
just-
even do anything. He just
that's what I-
smiled. He
and-
just smiled at the fucking
well,
guy.
bottom line is,
So-
even if,
Basically, it's like
if,
if you smile at somebody,
but
they're gonna ruin your life for smiling at someone.
but again,
But it was
but
possible.
Do you
again,
think that
like,
kid's life's
hold
ruined?
on.
but again,
Do you think that kid's life's ruined?
no, because everything came out and turned out the situation wasn't as they thought. But like, I'm talking just straight. This is that situation was a perfect storm of where the fuck we're at,
Yeah.
and where that somebody could look at, like, in terms of the extremes. If you think about the extremes, we're watching a child be in this situation, and we're judging the hell out of this child, going all the way to exaggeration, being like, he should do this and this and that. This is without a child, without the actual ends of that story, the full story,
Mhm.
and then why does it matter to all of us
Yeah.
that what happened
And
in this
see,
tiny
that-
thing?
And that reason is only one of many reasons where things that I'm
No, I'm done.
going
No.
on now, why I no longer resonate with like the left pretty much. Because
That's extreme.
Who's the
They're extremes.
Who are the extremists?
So I'm going to say some things.
There's extremists on both sides, man.
There are.
Yeah, it's
But-
just now we're in a point
but
where
I'm
like
at-
the pendulum is swung,
yeah,
right?
but
Yeah.
And now you
But
have
now-
those people.
But you
who are
got people.
no, but the thing about it is that we
the
all
tolerant left
are the
calling
extreme.
for the
This is what-
killing of a child.
no, but this is the thing.
Well, here's the
Because
thing.
he smiled.
It's
But
hard.
is that
it's
the
hard
hippie?
right now?
But is that the hippie? I think that's my
No,
point.
but
Is
this is the
that's
thing.
not
The
the
hippies have become the extremists.
No,
And
but
that's
that's
what I'm
the
saying.
thing.
They're not. They're
Hold
not
up,
yet.
We're
hold up, hold
all
up, hold
the
up.
extreme. We're all the
Hold up. You're saying we're all the extreme, and you're saying the hippies are the extremists now. That's not
No,
correct.
because there are
That's what
no
I mean.
hippies.
Hold on.
on.
Hold on.
are
You're
no
not
hippies
correct.
anymore.
Hold on.
The idea
Hold on,
to
hold on.
So hold on a second.
The ones
I haven't said shit. Let me say some
centrists.
shit. I got
So
some
you're
shit to
saying
say. Let me say some
the
shit.
hippies
I got
are
some shit.
centrists.
I want to say some shit. I'm gonna say some shit.
That know the right. Or
You're
know
saying-
right, more or less.
You're
It's not
saying
worth-
this about the hippies.
would be
There was a
extremes,
point in
but
time, if we
certain
go
ones.
back to those 70s and 60s that you guys were talking about, where the left was the crazy extremists, bro. They were the people who were out in the streets fucking throwing firebombs and protesting and spitting in people's faces and going all against the grain to get their point across. This happened.
Yeah,
This
there's-
is
yeah,
fact.
you're saying
This is
hippies,
life.
There's the extremist hippies.
Our
and then there's
hippies that
the
we
hippies
have
like,
now,
like your idea.
I'm
It's
more
not worth their
afraid.
time. They can keep on doing what they do and live their life the way
You're
they live
talking
it
about all of these,
without being
all of,
caught and doing it
you're not
the way they
wrong.
like it,
Okay,
right?
you're not wrong. This thing with this kid and the MAGA kid and whatever the hell he did,
People have found
I
ways that
think
they can take advantage
things
of
get blown
get
out
out
of
to the world
proportion
and fucking-
way
So
too
much
quickly.
now.
No, hold up.
It's because everything's amplified.
Way too quickly. There's so many situations that can show you this. Our exposure that we have this thing, and we were talking about privacy because everything. My mess. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because there is my phone's dead. Emily's
Okay.
probably where's Josh?
So I'm talking full circle here, okay? Because we were talking about privacy and shit like that too. Like everything is just known. It happens. I'm using Nipsey Hussle here as just an excuse, just to show how quickly things happen. I'm at work. I'm just working. I'm fucking flipping burgers, doing whatever I'm doing. I go onto my phone, look at my Instagram, 20 likes. Oh, that's cool. Start flipping through the shit. Nipsey Hussle has been shot outside of his store. Nipsey Hussle has been this. Nipsey Hussle has been that. Nipsey Hussle has been this. Nipsey Hussle, all this shit. I don't know if this is real.
And
Go
now
on the
all of a-
internet.
Now all of a sudden,
No.
everybody's a Dr. Sebi.
No.
Yeah,
Let's not even get into that because that's a totally different thing. That's a totally different thing. I don't want to go there.
I was just
Yeah,
making
I don't
a
want to.
side
I
joke.
know.
was
I
making
feel you.
a
That's
side
it.
joke.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. It's so crazy how the world works. But like, this happens, and it's all in real time, and nobody takes into account like everything that they're saying, everything that they're doing. So there's a vigil. A vigil happens. The day later, right after he's gone. God rest his soul. He's gone. So motherfuckers all show up to this vigil thing. Everybody knows that this vigil is going to happen because everything is connected. So somebody says, "Oh, this is going to happen over here at the Marathon store." Blah 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 blah. You gotta like, I don't know how many people were there. I just know that people were shot at this vigil, and I'm
It was a
sitting.
knife that came out.
No, so 2 people got shot.
I heard that people it was just a bunch of group. Someone pulled out a knife.
There's two situations, separate situations.
Either way, it doesn't matter. People got hurt.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't be happening.
And it's
Right?
literally a particular situation like that.
But some of these situations that happen because we are all so fucking connected, bro.
Mhm.
We are all so connected. So
Everything's
everybody knows that
amplified, everything's,
exactly,
yeah.
right? There are people that might not like this character. There are people that might not, feel for everything that's going on. There are people out there that are
Anybody
messed
could've
up
drove through
and
that
use
crowd,
this
yeah,
as their reason to go out and just start some shit.
Mhm.
Okay, what Alfred, the Dark Knight? Some people just want to
Wanted to
see
start
the fucking world burn,
Yeah, man.
straight up.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is a real thing.
Yeah, but this goes
Hold
back
on,
to the point.
We're all
Yeah.
connected, and you're right about the Kool-Aid too, bro. Because there are too many. No, it's not. It's such a. It's a good act. It's a good anecdote. It's a good it goes with it. It goes with it. You know what I mean? We're way too connected, and people are way too focused on everything else that's going on. There's so much verbal effluvia out here, bro. Constantly. I sit there and I see myself. I'm looking at my phone. I can't help it. It's part of my life. It's what I do. What is there something wrong?
No.
Okay.
No.
So like I don't know sometimes what I'm even doing with myself. I'm scrolling my Instagram, fat ass this, fat ass that. Charlemagne said this guy said that. Oh, that dude's got bars. Oh, that's kind of cool. This fight's gonna happen here. This fight's gonna happen. Everything that I want to know is right there.
Mhm.
Why would I go anywhere else to look for this information? Why would I go back to the television and be like, oh, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna watch ESPN, and then I'm gonna find whatever channel that TMZ is on, and I'm gonna find whatever channel has this, and then I'm gonna try and everything's here. It's hard for me to go away from this fucking thing. It's really, really hard for me to go away from this thing, and I'm seeing it every day. Being in school,
I mean, I feel like it's
Really
really
made-
made pry off of though too.
dude.
I don't pry off. From
You can't-
news. I pry off from socializing.
I'm just saying.
like, kind of.
I can't. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. Just listen. I'm like, we are so connected, and at the same time, so disconnected.
Yeah.
But you.
It
pry off
makes
of
no
social
sense.
media
More than
more
ever.
than I
Oh,
do.
sure. I'm not saying anything. I post, dude. I literally sit there. I scroll through things. Anybody who knows me, this dude's known me a long fucking time. He can tell you. What you see on my timeline, you know me. Do you really think all of that shit that you see when I post something is me? Like,
The
is
me
really
thing.
me? Yeah, I just do whatever the fuck I'm thinking in the moment. Oh, that shit's funny.
You find
Oh,
it
that
funny.
shit's
Yeah.
deep. Like, not everybody sees that shit. I talked to one dude, and demographics matter. I'm so glad that I went to college and I learned some of this stuff too. Jose is a person who he was sitting here and he was talking. Oh, sometimes you post some stuff on your page. This is him talking to me. Oh, you post some stuff on your page and it's really deep. Like, you're really projecting yourself. This is his thoughts on me based off of
Okay.
what I post. Okay, he knows me.
Yeah.
He's known me longer than he's known me. And he's sitting there and and I have to look at him sometimes like, bro, I'm just posting that because somebody out there needs to hear that. That's why lately when you see me post some conscious shit, I'll say for whoever needs to see this right now. Because people be getting at me and looking at me like, oh, is everything all right with you, dude? Are you all right? Based off of what you see there. If you know me, then you would know if something was wrong with me, if something was like, we're disconnected, bro. And that's fucked up. That's fucked up. So that part I don't agree with as far as our privacy and all that stuff is concerned. I don't always want somebody having their eyes staring at me and shit. I wish I could just be like, fuck this.
But
I do not need this.
People-
I don't need this.
people
Fuck
that have
this.
you
Do you
on
understand what I'm
I-
saying?
I don't have Facebook. I
people
don't
that
any
have
of that
you
shit
on
my
Instagram,
phone.
you
I don't even have Messenger on
have
my
you
phone. I deleted
on
all that
Instagram.
shit.
they're
I
thinking
don't
when they
really
see
go on
you post something, it's
I
what
don't really
you
fucking go
were
on.
thinking. You post something on Instagram because if you have a page that you like to post things that you
Sure,
like
and
to
that's
post
fine.
on.
I totally understand that. Not every single person
If
that's
you
on
had
my
two
page,
pages,
not every single that's on my
if you had
page
two
knows
pages,
me.
one was a personal page and one was that page, it'd be make a difference realistically.
Okay, and that's fine, but my page technically is a
People
personal
read into
page.
shit too much too.
But then
My
again,
page
you're
is
saying
Like,
tech-
I think it's that's what
It is and it
again,
isn't.
like that's the logic thing. It's like just in terms of where we're
you
at, people
gotta
like
pick either or.
it's kind of like
But
it's
that-
also
but this
there
is
is
just
no-
me. You're just
there is no-
centralizing me. What I'm saying is, generally speaking, for any person that has these platforms or uses any of these things,
Mhm.
we're sitting here and you
People
watch
are thinking
something,
of
you see something that you don't like. You can use that MAGA situation. You could use Conor McGregor and the dolly on the bus. You could use anything you want. Nipsey Hussle. You can use whatever you want as a situation. And everybody all of a sudden has an opinion on something that they know absolutely nothing about.
and I think what's
The Fox
fair
Reporter the other
Fair
day.
enough, but I
The
mean-
Fox
but
Reporter
you're
the other day.
using- what I'm
That's
saying is
fucked
you're
up.
using your
Okay?
personal Instagram pages.
You didn't see that? There's a Fox reporter who's
You have
sitting there and she's reporting on this guy's
No.
death and she's reporting on
you have Instagram?
whatever thing they had
You post
for
anything on
his death,
Instagram.
right?
You have family and friends on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's all you realistically have probably on there because that's all you're aiming for on there. Where you have an open variety of target markets
No, but I
on your
have exactly
Instagram.
what he has. Like the thing about it is like I have two pages. The one
I'm
page
not
that I have
disagreeing with you on
pictures and
demographics,
comedy
dude.
Stuff,
And
then I have my
your
personal
one
page.
page is known for being
and I have my
common.
personal page that says my name. At the end of the day, I understand.
Do you get a
exactly
message
what
for
it
you
is.
posting something being like, why you feeling that way, bro?
100% because I was doing the
On your
same thing he
personal
was doing
page.
it. Yeah, I'd have people come and be like,
But that's
"Are
your
you
own
okay?
fault.
Are you?"
It's not
But
a
I
fault thing
understand
if you know
posting
me.
an emotional
but
thing on your. It's like
I
going on my
understand
Facebook
you.
and posting posting.
No, but hold
people
on a
are
second.
using. Here's the thing. I'll tell you this, and it's funny because you're putting it on that, but like
I'm not putting it on them. I'm saying
no, I
you are
understand.
creating a persona of something that you are using
No,
for yourself.
It's people's personal guilt coming out.
So
So
this
all
is-
they're doing is all they're saying is, I see what, I'm going through the same. I'm asking you, are you okay? Because I may not be okay. I'm trying to connect to you
Well, some
on a
people are
level.
just
if you go on your
But no.
Facebook page and make a post saying I'm gonna kill myself tonight, that's something.
But
It's the same fucking thing.
No, it's
You-
not.
Yeah, it
You're
is.
telling
No.
people
It's
you're gonna
not
kill
even
yourself.
This
No,
asshole's not paying me back. I'm not gonna use names, but I'm posting it in my site. I'm posting it in my feed on my personal
Because
page
you
using my
want-
personal name.
you want
I want
attention.
people to pry off this.
No,
Get something.
You
it's
want
not the
attention.
same thing. It's
no,
not the same
okay,
thing.
I'm gonna stop.
Look,
wait.
I can have one post that's conscious and sits there and says, hey man, some Taoist thing that says, the water rolls this way, so you should let things lie the way they are, just like the fucking rocks that roll down the river or some shit like that. My very next post could be some shit about getting head in the car or some fucking random shit like that. So
That's
tell
what
me,
I
no,
mean.
hold up.
You're
But
using one page.
tell
to create
me-
a bad persona, kind of idea.
but
You're using your name.
how
for
are
your
you
thing.
getting a projection out of the type of person that I am
No,
based
that's-
off of one post to the next? They're two totally,
I follow
completely
you.
different
I don't
things.
follow your page that you post.
But
funny stuff
understand what
on.
I'm saying.
Well, that's literally like saying I could look at anybody on my Instagram and be like, wow, that person's life is
basically-
perfect.
Yeah.
Is-
Yeah.
No, it is. But here's the
I
thing.
have a buddy with 4
Wait,
Instagram accounts.
Wait. Hear me out. So that's literally like what you're saying, because every single post is what this person is. That is the same as looking at, and this is the problem with where we're at. You're looking at somebody's Instagram and you're like, their life is perfect. And this is actually where I've actually been having a personal struggle with Instagram. And I'll tell you why. Because one, I run a dance studio, right? So in terms of
When
my
do you
company,
post something? Why would you post that picture?
I mean, actually can talk about this very specifically.
Yeah.
So I have my business page, my studio page, and that's all about what's happening at the studio and all those things, right? That is a separate page. That's not me. That's literally a business page. My page, I put it whatever I feel like. Now, recently I haven't been posting because I've been like, I just had a thing recently where I was like, when I post something, who am I posting it for? Am I?
That's again because you know the reason what you're posting. You are looking for something out of it. Why are you posting?
No.
You don't post
Yes.
something because now it's being exposed. You post it because you're looking for a reaction.
Yes, but with
I'll
that
agree
said,
with that.
but is the reaction me? Is what I post, and this is the thing. If someone were to look at my Instagram, they were like, "Wow, Josh's life is full of food and his wonderful
Right there.
wife
So you
and
need
his
to think-
friends."
so before you post that thing, you're thinking real hard. Is this me? Is this what I want to persona myself as?
I don't. Here's the thing, though.
You
I
do.
don't.
You
I
just
don't
said
have
you
these
did.
problems anymore.
But
You
but,
don't
but
want-
this
I'm
is
sorry,
my
I
point. My
came to
point is
a fucking
this.
realization.
You literally you
that
dodged it. You
Facebook,
dick it. You did it.
fucking
You said fuck it.
Twitter,
My-
Instagram,
my-
or whatever the fuck is all the biggest waste of fucking time.
It's
I
not even.
don't-
It's not even so
Let
much
him
that it's a
finish.
waste of
Let him
time.
finish.
Because wait,
No, let him finish. Let him finish.
Because frankly, I don't think it's a waste of time. And this is the thing okay. My struggle is that I don't know who I'm posting for sometimes. But then in that very same vein, sometimes when I do post something of what happened with myself and my wife and having my niece and nephews over, and then my cousin in New Zealand right now is like, oh, that's so nice to see what's going on. Then we have a conversation because of that. So for that very reason, it's wonderful. With that said, if I were to judge everybody on their Instagram page, literally everyone in this entire world's life is completely perfect.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's amazing. And here's the thing. We know that's not true.
Yeah.
We literally know that's not true.
There's
So
a lot
if,
of people that
That's
do
what I
think
mean.
it's
You
But
already
so if
go
I'm-
into that knowing posting your next.
No, but
No,
there's
no,
a
no,
lot
no,
of people that
no,
think that's true.
no,
Yeah.
but my
But
point
no,
is
you
it's
should
like,
know. You should know from class that nobody consciously does just anything. Like some people are, like
Okay,
you.
you're
Okay,
saying that,
you're
but again,
you're
like,
meticulous
look at
because
these-
you're going.
look
You're
at
going
these
through your
popular pages that post these things without even thinking,
Yeah,
and they're
I
billionaires.
gotta make a move though, because I gotta get some more work done before I go to sleep. I'm
Yeah.
already starting to fucking late.
Sorry,
I just think
Oh, bro.
anyone
Nice
who's
meeting you,
gonna
man.
assume
you can
that
plug
this
yourself. You're a
person
graphic
is who
designer,
they
aren't
are
you?
because their page
Next time.
is clearly mistaken, and I don't know what world that's in.
Yeah,
Nice
man.
meeting you, man.
Yeah, man. Easy.
Nice to see you, man.
Yeah, man.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
I was at the thing before the stag or whatever.
Oh yeah. So it's like,
go
yeah,
on there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a while ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Thank
Bless.
you for coming. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. It was nice.
I'm gonna holler at you, man.
Yeah, man. Hit me up.
I'm just saying, like, I can't. When he says those things on Facebook, I can't. I think it's foolish for anyone to assume that what they're seeing in terms of a personal page is that person.
It's truly
And
what it is.
To truly
But-
assume.
But the thing is,
But we are
a lot
doing
of,
that.
but a lot of people, like, before I said something, I actually sit there because I've had it happen to me. I would post something, and then next you know, my baby moms and
And people
brother
are
that
all
I fuck,
sawing at you.
and they're hitting me up, you're like, how could you post that? And that because they're taking it personal.
Oh, that was these guys for me.
You know what I mean? They're taking
Oh,
it
but I
personal.
always
But it
just
wasn't
tell
meant
you
to
as
be
a
personal.
person.
You thought about
I
it
brought you.
before.
I brought you.
No,
a
I want to
perception.
post it because I want to
we
and I
post
brought
it.
you a
I'm a
positive
comedian,
argument
so
for my
I
my
want to
end
post
of
it. I'm
like.
going to post it.
I don't.
But
I
You
don't.
have a second
It's a
page.
joke.
I do have a second
That's
page.
the
Yeah,
guy posting
generally
it.
speaking.
Yeah.
That's the what, like,
I don't
most
expect you to
that
like
part.
every single
That's-
post. I know why
I
you don't
understand
like
that
it.
part.
Should it?
That's the
No,
part of it that you're utilizing a page that has your name on it. So when people see emotional things, they cling on to that because they know you. When I
That's- and
see
that's
anything
fair,
emotional
and that's
posted
fair.
by
that's
you,
not true.
I have my buddy that has 4 pages. One of them being a
I think
food
your
page.
dad tried to follow me. By the way, is your dad's name Dan?
No.
Somebody with it. Wait, I'll show you. After.
Dan. My last name's Angiola.
Yeah, no. I have it. I'll show you. Sam. Is his name Sam?
Yeah,
Yeah, your dad tried to follow me.
because you posted that picture probably then.
Which one?
The
Oh,
picture of
of
me
us?
here.
Oh, the tag. Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
that's probably why. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like, my dad's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
my dad's super cool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
My
don't
bad.
even worry about it.
Sorry.
He's annoyed with your post.
I meant to tell you. I meant to tell you. I
You
meant
know
to
how
tell
long
you.
it took him to follow me back? It took like a month to follow me back because he didn't know how to fucking work his phone. Fucking made me lose conscious. Fuck. What was I going to say?
Victory.
You're talking about
No, but when
in
it
terms
comes
of his posts when you see him post
So, yeah.
something emotional.
You have one page that you post to, and I feel that that's your page. I know that's you that's posting. So when I read something that would be emotionally specific, you don't have a comment to back it up, being like, "What are your thoughts?" or "What is that?" You just post it. So then it makes me think
That's
you
yeah.
posted it because that was your thought.
That's
but-
the stigma
but-
right there.
no,
If
but
you're
hold on a
posting it being like, how funny is
But
this?
that's a bit of
Or what do you
semantics,
think
man.
about
That's
this?
I
just
think you're right.
semantics.
That's
I
a
think people
page
do
giving
that.
you,
But
making
I
you
also
think.
think like
You're posting it
I
on your
think
on
when-
a
and when
page
people
that
are
you
jumping to that
literally
conclusion,
still
I'm like,
persona yourself.
No, but that's exactly
I feel
what I
where you're
said.
coming from, but like
When
I
it
don't think
turns
I should have to
around,
caption everything that I put out there in
It's
order
not
to
even
put it into
capturing it.
context.
It's the fact that it's your page. If you made a page that you said
You
that
drove here, right?
I'm done.
Okay.
was, if you,
because I'm with you because at the same time, like
There's no
when
reason to
somebody
even
does
question
post
it.
something
there's
emotional,
no
and you're
reason for
like,
someone to question it if it
'cause
was
it
a
might
page
be
that's just a
absolutely.
junk page. You say it's a junk page, people have no reason to question you on that shit,
Actually,
right?
me and you can talk about
You
this
can even say
because
that.
you have actually you have commented on my shit.
Mhm.
When I post something, I leave an open forum for people to talk about. There was a guy one day, I don't know what we're talking about, but you jumped on and you were just like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And your brother your brother jumped on too.
Lee's too aggressive sometimes.
And the thing about it
He's
is,
hilarious. He steals all my memes.
and the thing about it
Character.
is, you know what I mean. The thing, what I understand where he's coming from.
No, absolutely.
But the thing about it is that it's just like a meme. And I put memes to so much shit because I'd rather not say the words. And I had a girl say to me, it's like, you know, you're not saying anything. I asked you a question, you sent me a meme.
Yeah.
You're not saying anything. Even if it says something in the content,
Yeah, you're not
you
actually saying
per se
anything.
are not saying
And were you
anything.
like,
No.
no, you're right.
And I'm like, damn you.
Yeah, you're
got me.
detached. Yeah.
Got me. Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. And I think we need more people to be on that. And she's a lot older because it makes sense. At the end of the day, it depends on what
We're
time
looking. That's what I mean.
and what
like,
you're looking for.
when I see people, like, you can't.
He's younger than
It's
us.
just- yeah, I
Keep that
know,
in
I
mind.
know, and like, but I mean, just Instagram, like, and that's kind of what's been messing me up. Not even messing me up because I'm like, I don't know if I want to post that. I'm like, so am I gonna post this thing, this moment of my life, which was super cool? I'm like, but who am I posting this for right now? Am I posting this so people are
think-
like, oh, that's neat. Josh is
Okay.
up to cool things.
No.
And I'll tell you something. I had a conversation with a friend who's like, you got to keep posting so that, like, as a brand, you got to do that.
Yeah.
And that's also made me go, that I think that's why I don't want to post. You know what I mean?
I was at the Globetrotters game a couple weeks ago, and I sat there and I have a couple pictures of me and my son, and I sat there going, do I post this? Because I didn't take pictures of the actual game. I took a picture of me and him in that moment. And I sat there, and until now, and I'm just like, I'm not going to post it because at the end of the day, that moment's for me and him.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump in here for this because,
Yeah.
like,
It's what comes down to.
And I think
No, hold up.
I think it's life.
because I'll ask
This
you.
new life is about trying to find a balance between.
No, I'll ask you guys a question. When's the last time you saw me post my kids?
A couple months for sure.
I don't know.
No. I'm pretty sure the last thing I posted about children, like specifically with them in a photo,
Well, it might have
unless
been
it was a
actually
birthday,
Comic-Con or
I
something.
think it's either that or I think it was Quentin's graduation last year.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm very specific. And Crystal asked me about this, and I don't listen to her because I'm like, whatever. She's one of those people that like believes the worst of everything.
Mhm.
So like, oh, a picture's out there and some pervert might get it. Huh? No. Some pervert might get it or something, some crazy shit, right? Like, I'm not like that. So I realize with my page that like not everybody is on there like knows me. So let's say I post, I'll have a post and it's like, oh, it's new comic book day, right? Like I showed you everything that I got. And I
Yeah.
showed it to you because I knew your reaction
I'm gonna
from that.
appreciate
Okay.
it, yeah.
So I'm sure you see on my page, there's guys that like I have conversations with on my Facebook or on my Instagram that are comic related or anime related or some shit like that. And I'll post something, I'll tag some people and we'll have a conversation about it. We'll argue, we'll go back and forth, right?
Mhm.
When I post, depending on what the content is, it's specific to those people.
Mhm.
Okay. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
But
But
if
you're
I
thinking about a few people.
yeah, when if I post something like Marvel Cinematic Universe related,
Yeah.
I don't expect you to necessarily like, but I expect you to react.
Yeah.
And I know that when you see the picture or whatever, you're scrolling through your shit and you're like, I don't want to get flooded with Safari shit, so I'm probably not gonna like this. But at the same time, that shit still, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Anything that I post that's like that, it's cool. But if I post some like conscious shit, every girl on my page is liking my shit. Or like fucking stealing my shit or some shit like that. It's crazy sometimes because I don't like looking at like Instagram stories, let's say, right? I'll hit it just to go through it. Like I'll look at somebody's, like my cousin, he's a boxer. So I'll look at his page. I'll pay attention to his story because that shit's motivating. That's cool. He's training, he's teaching people, he's got his gym, the growth that he's had. I'm pretty sure
you guys typically follow on Instagram.
I'm pretty sure he's
Well, I
under
follow
50
a ton.
years old.
Because they're all dancers.
How many?
It's all dance stuff. A ton.
Oh, a ton. But I mean, like just like you said,
And some of my friends.
he's selective on the stories.
To be totally
I mean, at a
honest,
certain point, you
on-
gotta be
also-
selective on your
you see,
stories.
no,
on my actual
obviously.
page, I have 420 people. I do not follow. I probably follow maybe 10
What does it mean? Like, so,
You mean the actual
I mean,
people
the people
who
who follow. I mean, the people
because
who
I
follow.
realized something. I go on my other page. I realized
Again,
how many
understand
people I lost because I'm not being active. And then I sat there for a second and until now I see the reaction. There's people still logging in, looking at my page. I haven't done anything to it in the last probably 4 years. People still going to my page, reading through all the stuff that I post as comedy stuff.
But if you go and follow somebody now, Instagram will automatically generate pictures of their most recent now. That's something that Instagram does now.
Yeah, and I'm
You go and
saying,
follow someone, they'll go and automatically in your feed will be their photo
it'll be
from
their
however
shit.
long ago.
and I
Just
sit
whatever
there
shit
and I
it
go,
is.
I don't know why, but yeah, that's
It's
No, but I look at
algorithms.
things
It's
now and I'm
algorithms. That's
sitting
how
there
it
going,
works.
and they've changed.
It's
you
like
don't see
Facebook.
everything anymore. Yeah.
I got 900 and something people on my Facebook. But when I post something, the highest mark I'll probably hit is like 30, maybe
People that
20.
see it,
See,
or anything
okay.
like likes or whatever.
Yeah, like,
That's what I mean.
and I
Out
sat
of
there.
900, probably only about 300 saw it.
It's funny.
on
I've
their
got some
page.
interesting facts for
Right?
you in
Yeah.
terms of
So it's,
Oh,
with these sort of big
demographics and
algorithms,
analytics matter,
it's
dude.
so
Look,
I mean,
what
Instagram,
day you
it'll be
post,
like-
what
Yeah,
time,
you, like,
is there a
pages that you
face in your
recently checked
picture?
out.
Take this
They
into
follow
account.
The
algorithms.
thing
okay?
that weirds me out the most about it is when you get a phone number. And when you get a phone number from somebody you just
It
put in
could
your
be.
phone,
It could be.
instantly Facebook will find you. You'll find that person for you.
Oh yeah.
And I'm
I
sitting there
haven't
going,
seen that.
'Cause
I don't
I-
use-
no,
I don't have Facebook on
No,
my
I've
phone.
realized.
oh,
Okay,
it's happened
I
to me
don't
so
use
many
in my
times.
messenger all the time
I
now.
have Facebook, but I don't
People's
use
numbers
Facebook.
change all the time. People lose their phones and shit like that. So somebody else will end up with that phone number. So I'll look at my Facebook or my messenger and it'll be like added to contacts, and it'll be some I have no idea who the fuck this
I
person
never
is.
noticed that before.
Yeah, then you have to like, dude, this is what I mean. It's crazy, bro. The way that all this shit works
Like,
out.
I haven't noticed like where like sometimes.
But my highest
I'm not
liked
sure, but it's, oh, I
picture,
think it's this person.
like my highest
Well,
liked
that's the
picture
thing.
on either Instagram or on fucking Facebook or anything like that was either the Stanley photo with you and Quentin, or the photo that I showed of us at your wedding.
Mhm.
There was the two photos that I showed from us at your wedding. And I think I had like 130 likes,
Hands
100, some ridiculous shit like that. Okay. And like, it's not to say that I don't get steady likes or whatever on the stupid shit that I post or whatever the fuck the case may be, but it's all subjective to the people that are paying attention to that particular
Yeah,
shit.
because Instagram is different. For me, I'll get high numbers. Like if I post something about me and my son, I posted a picture that I have a similar picture to.
But you get likes based on the people that want to like it.
Yeah, and it was just
Like
like
if
it's
you
3
have
o'clock
versus
in the
case
morning.
about posting a joke.
So I was just saying to him. So this is something interesting because I was looking this up for.
The problem with having the
I was-
same page and you're doing this, you're doing
No.
something that's not your opinion. Really.
No, I was looking. Well, I was looking up for. I was looking up.
I agree.
When I was thinking about like posting for the studio and stuff, and just about like what's good for Facebook. So like I came across an article, right? Anyways, article. There's a couple things. One, what time you post. In terms of when you're posting, if you post, it's like in between Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but not on Friday after 7 p.m.
6 or 7.
6 or 7 p.m.
Sounds about right.
It's a ghost zone. Sunday, it's like the best times is actually in between, just before 12 o'clock, because that's when people are on their break and they see things during that time. So like there is a time when people are going through. Now, that's just the time and scheduling thing. But then if you have, let's say you have a wonderful plate of food, and this kind of blew my mind, a wonderful plate of food untouched, you'll get likes. If you get that same plate of food with a bite out of it, it gets more likes. if you have a picture with pictures with faces gain more likes than not, right? Because and you can break that down however you want, but like food with bites get more likes because it's personal. It's made personal as opposed to look at this beautiful thing.
I didn't take this picture. I took this picture. I took a bite of it. Like
yeah,
okay,
right.
okay. What do you mean by that?
Do you know what I mean? Like the experience of it. Same thing with you can take a picture of a beautiful building and it's like gorgeous architecture. But if you put a person in front of that building, that same picture would actually get
Way more likes.
So, but this is back to photography. Back to exactly. It's creating the image. It's creating the theme and the story in a photo.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean,
it's kind of like same thing with dance.
What makes a photo appealing?
Way it connects.
Yes.
Same thing with a dance. If you see a dance and it could be the dopest, sickest dancer.
Just because I like the photo doesn't mean I'm gonna like it. Like on like a program. But where my issue is where people are posting an emotional thought, which can be interpreted as a personal situation idea. Well, I mean, sorry, I'm going off track back to where we were, but like I said, he posted something saying like, oh, like,
something
like, how can you even deal with a person like this? It's like, well, like, are you talking about somebody specifically, or are you just posting that as a meme? It's really hard to.
That's what I knocked my head on when I was saying that earlier ago.
You have a 50-50 market on your page.
Yeah, but it's the way people think today. Mm-hmm. And the way people think today is.
So he follows one of my people on both my pages or one of my pages?
Am I feeling the same way?
I believe.
If I'm feeling the same way, then I'm going to ask.
Connect to me.
I'm going to ask because I'm feeling that way.
Or the opposite.
So my photography page, I post random pictures like leaves and shit like that. Like pictures that I feel would be like that are really good and worth posting. Mm-hmm. Those get likes. Yes, I'd fucking put a whole bunch of hashtags and shit like that. And then I have my personal page. Mm-hmm. I mean, my personal page, I only get likes from my friends. I only follow my friends and the same shit like that. Where my photography page, I just post it randomly. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm not getting like anybody being like, why you posting shit like that? Why you being weird? Like, I don't get people asking me that shit.
Well, because you're
my best boys that are like, what the, like, they literally would even, like, I know they would even question that shit. Aren't even questioning that shit.
You're doing a picture of an object. So for them, there's no personal.
Then I put a little comment with them with a term or like a something to make them.
They're taking it at face
attachment in your photo though, because you're like there's no
human
aspect.
Yeah, but it's taking
there's no human aspect to what you're doing. If
you would have put a tombstone,
it's a second page. If I would have posted on my random page, I'd be like, is something up, buddy?
Now you're going, hold up. I'm thinking about death. I'm thinking about this time. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't post like what he posts on Facebook and Instagram. I used to do the same thing. I have people come up to me and be like, thank you.
I mean,
you used to hit me up and you're like, Garth, thank you for putting this post.
Mm-hmm. You stopped doing because you do exactly what I thought is like what I think.
No, what happened? Something happened to me. Something inside of me snapped. And something said to me, like, Anthony, I don't want this control. I don't want people to come to me and being like, you are dictating to me how I'm feeling. And then I got to a point where I'm searching for it. I'm on my phone. I'm searching. I'm trying to find this. I'm trying to find that. And I'm like, I'm wasting all this time trying to find shit to make other people feel something or to connect to something or talk about something. What am I benefiting when I'm leaving an open form?
Like, okay.
So, mind you, I do think doing things to make people feel something is very important. That's the reason. There's a reason why.
Yeah, I think I got super
if
dark.
If it's pulling away from you, then
I got super dark because I had a lot of free time, and especially at school when you're learning about how this new era is with social media or just technology in itself and people.
When I was in school, the biggest thing that Allison put into us is that everything you read. I mean, I say everything you read is not real, but you really need to think about everything you read.
And
you have to be objective.
Think about it. Point
I mean, not overthink it, but you need to think about it.
And that's what my point is. When people look at your Instagram,
even you being the one posting it, you need to think about it.
Yeah,
you should.
But honestly, literally, what you just said is my point. And where that when somebody looks at what he posts,
that's something we know. And these days, we need to think about everything
we
do. We know this.
You can't say. I mean, yes, everybody posts shit like anonymously and fucking.
No, but there's people that go out of their way to get attention.
Here,
There's
go.
people.
And
I
that's
wanna
when
hear your
mistakes
point.
are made when you don't think about it.
My, my
but
point's been
no,
made.
but it's-
Yeah,
No, like literally what you said.
Nobody
You just
disagrees, and everybody kind of agrees that.
well, what you just said is what I was saying before. Is like what you're seeing online is not real. It's just a certain perspective. It's the same way that I remember having a conversation. Like it's the same way why when people talk about
Don't lose
depictions
all
of
hope.
wait, no, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When people talk depictions of specifically racialized people on film, in camera, on in media, that for a long time people are like, well, you have an entire generation of police and people who will still see a black man in a certain way. Will still see and that is based on a perception that was given to them, and they took it as real. Not a perception. That's not what I meant. A picture, and they and it's the same way that actually, and where that we all look we're against rich and corporations because heck, the empire was a fucking corporation. And do you know what I'm talking about? The Empire, right? Specifically Star Wars. Because if you look at Star Wars, the Empire, they got money, man. Their ships are beautiful.
They got credits to throw around.
They got credits to throw around. And then the rebels are the ones on the come up. They're trying to defeat the
Patriot.
It's always like again, and that's perception. It's kind of like I was talking. My wife and I were having a conversation a while ago, and we were saying like it's interesting that I'm always checking my biases, always, because I am very aware that I am being led in a certain direction.
You're always aware
With
that you're
media.
being biased, though.
I try to be.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking.
I mean, I will agree that, like, literally, like.
No, because when I think about
it takes control of us, more or less. Like somebody says something, it depends on the moment, depends how we're feeling,
absolutely.
depends how we feel towards that person.
Yeah, well, because I think about like there was I think it was something.
Like, I feel like a lot of my bias comes out because, like, I mean, I love when my bias comes out to bring like a conversation out, because that's a conversation. It's not like sticking to what my bias question was or whatever it was, whatever the thing is. But like again, there's so many times where like someone says something and then you just kind of become biased, right? Like you become biased.
Well, we all have biases. I think that's to say that you don't would be ridiculous.
I guess it depends on who you're talking to and how you're. Like, yeah.
But I was thinking, anyways, the article, the conversation, I can't remember what it was, but it was online, and they were talking about like the rich, and I think, and both my wife and I were kind of like, and then we're like, hey, did you notice? And we had a conversation about how we sometimes have that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
It's fucking jokes.
That sometimes you have that we would have this bias against, like, the rich coming in and that they're a certain way, and you're like, that's not. I've met tons of rich people who are honestly the sweetest people and would probably give you the shirt off their back, but that's not what media tells us, frankly. And I'm not saying that they're not all like that, but
dude,
see me, I'm different on that. I look at people and there's certain kind of things, and especially rich people. I have this bias. I have this bias against rich people.
That's what I'm saying. I do,
but I mean,
and I will sit
sometimes it's like you're.
But
like,
I'm checking it. So I'm checking.
Well, that goes back to you guys' last conversation.
Example.
That's hilarious.
So perfect example. So they're in Toronto. They just had this company hosted a dinner. A big chef hosted a dinner underneath the.
Yes, I saw that. I was like, "What the fuck?" That was my first response.
No, but why? Like, why were you saying what the fuck?
Oh, because my first response to that, my bias was like, "How dare they kick all of these homeless people out of the area?"
They didn't kick them up from right there.
No, well, they're removing them from.
It was a very far distance situation, but I mean, like it wasn't right there where they got kicked out of.
You asked me and then you didn't let me respond.
Sorry. Oh.
So no, you're right. It wasn't right there, but I'm telling you what my bias was. I'm not saying it was correct. I'm saying my bias led me to look at that situation and be like, how is it okay to be moving these people out and then set up these domes for rich people with these plates to have this wonderful dinner under the bridge, and like, oh, it's wonderful now that you can have this wonderful. And meanwhile, and it's funny because the moment I read it, my first response was like, that's fucked up, and then I'm like, oh, it's an experience.
But you know what I took from that? I sat there and I'm like, I'm not this bougie motherfucking shit.
Yeah, I would do it.
I'm sitting there going,
But that's
and
not
the
the
first
point.
time I
That's
seen it,
That's not
point.
the
I
point,
mean, it's
though.
but that's
Literally.
but the point is there's always gonna be somebody doing this bougie
And
shit.
it's not even that they were targeting them.
No, but it
That's-
has
they made it seem
for
like
me,
it was a
But I don't
target.
even give a fuck
No,
about
but
the homeless
the
people.
I mean, the news
I don't
was
even
very
give a fuck.
unbiased in this situation. Because
I'm
they were
looking
very
at it-
open to
I'm
both
looking at it.
ideas of what people thought in the situation.
I'm looking at it
The
trying
news
to
was
be
confused.
cool.
The
Trying
news
to
was
be
confused
cool
in this
is not
situation.
cool. Trying to be
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
is not cool.
Yeah.
Because they
Yeah.
really wanted the
That's
That's
me.
the whole thing about
Well,
That's trying to be cool is not cool.
That's
When
the
you're
thing about
trying to
cool.
be cool,
the
like
reason why it made the news was because of they made a situation out of it. The rich people having tons of a whole street dedicated to them. Is that not an issue? Why are they not making that an issue? They didn't. I mean, realistically, there was no target on the poor people for the scenario of
No,
that
but
dinner.
Here's
they
the
were-
thing, like that issue, that thing is not a non-issue. You're right. It's like, I guess that's what I'm saying. I'm like, that
it was
that
very hard at first to
story,
hear it.
that story is kind of a non-issue because like somebody's doing a pop-up. That's really what it comes down to. It's a pop-up. Yeah, it's a bougie
I mean,
pop-up.
like,
but
I could
like,
have been sitting there. I
aren't-
mean,
aren't
I'm not
there-
saying I'm rich, but I mean,
aren't
like,
there
I could have
things
just been
to
lucky
be-
to sit there, kind of idea. Not necessarily I wouldn't
but
be
for
considered.
me, I'm
But
like,
isn't
is there
there-
not better things to do than fucking come down here and let's be underneath the fucking
yes.
underneath the highway where
And with
where homeless people will fucking go try to live.
It's not the highlight of my
And
life,
here's the
but
thing,
yeah,
though,
give them
and
all
with
those
that, and
people
with
there.
that same argument, isn't there better things to argue about?
Exactly.
And that's
So-
where my bias took me. I was like, what the this is, and then I'm like,
No,
what is it really?
Because for me, it's
Because
within a
it's like,
split.
Choose
why-
your battle.
Why
What
is
is it?
Drake allowed to buy this much property in Toronto and slap this big of house on it? Nobody else
No,
was
but
allowed
it was
to
in
do
a
that.
quick moment, like you're saying. In a quick moment, I was just
You're
like,
there.
I'm here, and I really go, I don't give a fuck. Enjoy what the fuck you're doing. I don't give a fuck.
I literally didn't read the rest of the article because I felt myself
Well,
go,
that's
oh,
realistic.
and then I'm like,
That's
Nope.
I'm just using this as an example
Right.
right there.
and that's my point. Is that my bias? I think we're both saying like, we know our biases took us
Like
to
we
that point.
like a lot of people target the rich, but again, it's the persona that the news
No, but
makes of the
the
rich.
media-
I've asked
It's
the
easier
question.
for them to be like, oh, this
Hold on,
guy
let me
bought
finish.
a yacht. Oh, that's this much money. Oh, imagine what he could have done with this much money.
No, but I sat there and I talked about
Drake.
Drake. I go, you're going to the States and you're making a video saying you spent $1 million. You spent
My first
900.
reaction was that too.
And I'm
Okay,
sitting
I
there
did
going,
not
that was
say
a
why
messed
aren't
up
you
video.
doing that here?
Yeah, no, same.
I
You're
agree with
telling
that
me
video.
there's nobody in fucking Toronto right
That
now
could use
that
that.
could use that money. You did that to fucking make Americans fucking respect you.
I agree with that one. That one in particular, right
Because
there.
they don't. Majority
Even-
of people don't
Even my
respect
own mother
Drake.
came to me and being like, "What was up with that music video? Why was he giving away American money? Isn't he from Toronto?" I was like, "Yeah." I mean,
He
like, that was
wants-
a very big topic.
Because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, it builds his stake up in America. There's a lot of people that hate Drake.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of people
Yeah.
that love Drake.
Yeah.
He has-
in the same
He
vein.
could do no wrong here.
In the same vein, he's and like because I also had that same feeling.
Too, right?
I had that same feeling, and then the other side of me is like, he does rep Toronto a lot, man. He does like a
Bro,
lot.
on his biggest track right now, the record starts out with him saying "back home smoking legal."
Do you know what
That's
I'm
a
saying?
straight up reference
Yeah, shout out to
for
Toronto.
us.
Back
Shout
home
out to
Canada.
fucking Toronto.
He actually has been
Shout
doing
out
that
to
from the
Toronto.
beginning.
Like
It actually
Canada,
has been
like,
happening more so.
that's
It was
facts,
just that
bro.
one particular video.
Yeah, but
that,
people-
like,
that's
I
the thing.
agreed with that with
We-
you on that. Like,
But we were
Oh, same, I
smoking
fucking
legal
same.
when we were smoking illegally. The thing about it is, you know what I mean? That's the Canadian way.
Been smoking.
and the big thing with Drake,
Now, that's
he
the
doesn't
Canadian
justify anything. Drake does not justify
He doesn't-
anything.
Because he doesn't
anybody-
have to.
need
No,
to.
well,
Because you know why?
no,
Because he's rich.
No,
Exactly.
No,
And that's where I get my fucking
But that-
bias from.
wait.
Fuck those
He's
guys.
suc- continuously,
That's what I'm talking about. Fuck.
he's continuously
You also
successful.
do that
because
again.
he doesn't
You
justify
also
what
just
he
say
does.
Yo,
fuck the rich
it's just-
people.
That's what it comes down to.
Right? That's why I have my bias.
Just like Trump, he doesn't justify what he
Watch it. I'm
does.
with it.
Anybody,
Really?
anything
Two shout
that
out
he
to the people
does,
that watch it.
anybody that questions him, he doesn't justify on it. He doesn't
Oh my
question.
God,
it,
there are
doesn't-
people
Oh,
watching. I
well,
didn't
it's
even
different.
know.
He has to.
Look,
He's
look
for
today
president.
on the situation. He's being called a bad luck charm for sports teams. He won't even comment on it
Why should he? Because that's ridiculous.
because I mean, anybody that does is gonna
I mean,
it's
he
gonna
might
go
be,
the
but-
wrong way.
Yeah.
He will not comment on
What?
it.
You gotta look at it like this.
He
And
won't
I
comment
live-
because
Drake curse?
he's already
And
gotten
I
away
live-
from. He's
and
already
I
gotten
live
away
by
with
this.
not.
And
It's
I
not
live
real.
by this. I live by
The
this.
Patriots won Super
He's
Bowl.
already better off with not.
It's not real.
mentioning it.
I live by this. At the end of the day, you can ask me any question, and to be totally honest with you, it
What time
depends
is it,
how
Tim?
I feel.
It is just after.
If I want to answer that question or not.
Look, hey,
I have the right to answer that question, and you can
You see
take
that
it however
situation?
the fuck you want to take it.
She went up to the studio because my phone was dead.
Because especially
Really?
when you have
I
that kind of
haven't even
money, you
looked at
have
it.
that kind
Oh,
of
that was
clout.
rough.
I don't have to say anything
because
I
he
say it
gets
on my own
worried
terms.
because I was
Yes.
sawing stuff.
And
I
where
went
is
in
the
there
biggest
sawing
mistake
stuff on my
made?
own.
In a
She
lot of
didn't hear me.
situations,
I'm sorry.
the remark,
it's
the
not your fault.
The
reply,
It's not your fault. I'm a
minute
grown-ass
that you
man. I
reply,
should have been on
right?
top
You're
of my
giving
phone
that
being charged
energy,
and, like,
and at the end of the
You're
day,
giving to
my
them.
show,
You're
dude.
giving to everybody that asks you a
so
question.
saying nothing is the greatest thing on saying
do you
something.
think this could catch up?
Like
Yeah, I think
just like Trump, you would never even say anything that's happened in the past. You wouldn't even question it. I mean, if it was brought up, I have no idea.
I'm too old.
Focus it.
I don't remember.
I'm too old to even care.
I know.
Right.
Like
It was
he's what,
really tricky.
70-something years old?
I have no idea. But I mean,
Essentially speaking,
it's
Yeah.
If you don't question it, then there's. I mean, yet every time Trump
But
says
yeah.
something, people comment on it. Right?
Yeah, I know,
Even
I
if
know.
it's something that
Yeah.
he wasn't even
Okay.
questioning on, and he says something about, like whether it's a tragedy in another country, it's
I'm
commented
making
on.
peace with
Just like the Notre Dame
who I
church
am.
burning down.
Oh,
You should have dropped a plane of
publicly
water on it.
and privately. I
It's
think
in the
that's
middle of a city
kind of
with
having to do with
thousands of
conversations
people around,
because
and a
for
plane
me,
of water
I do
crushing
have
down
business.
on
I
a
do have
monument.
and they don't have
I have
planes
to be
with
aware of what I'm
fucking water.
doing. So
Exactly.
I mean,
frankly,
it's
I
not even
do
an idea.
tread
You can literally call any,
carefully, but
any
You're gonna
country
do
around
more
you.
I'm
damage.
true to myself.
More damage doing that than
But there's
fucking
certain things I
hundred
wouldn't
people.
say here.
You're gonna cause
that I'd
more
say here,
damage. You're
right?
probably gonna lose.
And
They had a
vice versa,
so
right?
wherever everything was saved, it must have been in
There
a
are
big,
some
massive
shows that
safe
get pretty-
vault. Like I mean,
And they
everything's
have
safe.
insurance.
Because that's the point.
But
But I mean,
the
you
same
can't
time,
protect
like-
history realistically. I mean, the church burned to the ground.
I don't.
All of their
I don't have
realistic
all those
history
crazy
has
stories.
been saved.
Him-isms, they
Has
have
been
those
protected. I mean,
things. Come
They
from
obviously
that.
thought about this years ago.
It's just
put it in a fucking
reactions.
vault.
You know, for me,
I
like,
think
No
the other
wall,
thing about
no
the
wood.
podcast, though,
Pure concrete,
what is
flame proof.
It is what it is.
What's-
And then you get the people now
fun.
talking about people being
Okay.
passive aggressive. And
There is
fucking-
no. There is no.
I don't. I,
But
I
like, I
didn't
guess
give a
it's like,
fuck.
what are your topics?
History's gonna be
Does
burned
Joe Rogan have
in
something?
so many different ways that it
No,
doesn't.
but he's Joe Rogan.
To think
Yeah, I don't
that
have to
it's
be
gonna
anybody.
last that
this is
long.
the-
No,
this
it's
is
maybe
the
like
beauty
yes,
of
it
the
could be sad in
platform,
moments,
is that
but
I can do
yeah,
what I
if you
want.
think
I
back,
don't
I mean, like,
have
Yo,
to
when
be
people
like,
turn around
this
and they're
is
like,
bottom line.
Yeah,
yo,
I know
my
that's true.
definition,
Flint,
like, I wanna
Flint
talk about
doesn't,
whatever the
Flint
fuck
still
I
doesn't
want.
have water. I'm like,
Well, I
Somebody's-
guess it's a goal. 'Cause
Well-
the goal is the goal to get viewers.
okay.
Not really.
Then,
Yeah, I
then
know.
If they don't want to do
it.
anything
Like, I
about
guess if
it,
the goal is to get viewers, then you have to like
what the fuck am I gonna do?
come up with a like this is what it's
Look,
about.
I want something done,
We can.
but it's out of
Yeah,
my
I know, sure.
fucking
But you're right.
hands.
Yeah, no,
it's not as easy
I
just
have
to
no specific.
walk outside
I
and
just
just
want my friends to follow me, and
Everybody.
one after
Right.
that, like,
Put your- everybody give $1.
if somebody wants to follow, like,
I was just at Eat a Pita and they
Well,
were
you
just
might
like,
give
yo,
$1, just give damn.
But
But the
Pita
same
Pit.
same thing at the same moment. Right?
no,
like,
but it's
I
just like
did
it's
my
just like
first
going to
live.
Pita Pit and I'm asking
it
for
was just
$1.
me on it.
It's like,
I wasn't doing all.
what
You know
is
I mean?
my
My
money
first live, and like,
gonna
just
do
me
for the
sitting
kids
there,
for
he's like,
autism?
no, I listened to it 3
When they
while I
get
was
this
editing, it
money,
was
there's
great.
so many kids that need that
There's
money.
him.
At the
my
end of the
roommate.
day,
He's
you're
a
gonna
totally
give
different demographic.
$20,000.
He's like,
It's
dude,
already
I
spent.
live with you. I hear most of these.
That money,
This
there's
is
other
great.
people
You should
in
get on
other
Spotify.
companies that are giving money to it. So, you know,
So I'm like, oh yeah, maybe.
and
that's the shit.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Well, you know what, man? Honestly,
It's as simple said.
obviously
Remember,
this is
said
totally different.
being Canadian. I will say
This-
for that scenario.
we went
right
out
there.
there.
Yeah,
was
we
a little
have
bit,
we
but
have a
it's okay.
smaller population
I don't ever
where
wanna
it's
go over
different
2
where
hours.
people
Mhm.
give,
I think that's like that.
but it's never gonna be to the magnitude
I'll
of
allow
what
for it. In
a New
this
York
is special
City
case. I don't
fucking,
know the next time we're gonna have you sit down
fundraiser
here for
No,
this.
that's true. I agree.
where it's
I mean?
going to
So-
be a millions
Although
of
I
dollars.
frankly I would love to come and talk.
Guaranteed, somebody
really
will,
talk
one
this
person will
Oh,
go. I will
we can do
give
that.
two
Because we
hundred thousand
barely
dollars
got
right
to
now.
into
Oh,
Phoenix.
You
I
could
was
probably
like,
get
I wanted to go
17
into it,
people
we
already.
got.
Yeah.
I said 3 times.
But you try to do that in Canada?
Anthony did that. I don't know. Whatever.
No, it is.
With the
But I gotta
US,
roll.
it's run by
I do have to roll.
with Canada, it's run by the
So,
government.
plug yourself, DMD.
DMD,
All right, we gotta shut this show down.
you know, We hip hop and we doing all sorts of fun stuff. If you ever.
So another
No,
go ahead, plug yourself, man.
No, man, no. I mean,
I'm gonna put this one. I'm actually. I'm thinking I'm gonna put this one on Facebook because it's actually good.
Yeah,
and we have
It
a
was
lot
kinda
of
all over the
conversation.
place.
Yeah,
It was all over the
yeah.
place.
So that's what
I
happens.
love having conversation, and the thing is that especially where we're at right now is like, I think we need to be talking. People need to be talking and arguing, and
I'm here.
yeah, we
Yes.
need to argue. Like people, we need to argue. Arguing brings you to a better place. Like
It brings you to so many different views and opinions
yes,
where you can sit there and say, you know what?
I didn't see it that way. Yeah,
How old do you think I am?
I don't know, like 18. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm
No,
joking.
no, you're
No,
probably a lot closer than you think.
What are you like 21?
24.
24.
Did
I
you
was
think
being
that after
nice.
that though?
No, I thought maybe I did think around like mid-20s.
Consistently?
No, well then actually it wasn't until he's like, oh, he's younger, and I was like, oh, okay. And
No,
then
but when you-
and I just threw out 21 as a number, but I really didn't think
we're
about
all
it
in
too
our
much.
30s, man. What do you want? Like,
Yeah, but
I can't tell age
Look,
anymore.
all I want to
I'm
say
all-
about all
I'm
the
all-
didn't. That's what I was
all
hoping.
we
That he had
talked
no
about.
idea of the different like.
No.
thoughts,
Look,
right. I mean, that makes a big difference, right? I mean, it's easy for me to come after any of you guys because of the different ages.
Yeah.
Easy as hell.
see, for me, I don't really look at age. I look at the intelligence.
Trust me, I
of
don't
the
say as much as I want to
Kelly.
say because you guys have come after me like, fucking, like oh
Yeah,
my
I just
God.
looked at it
Okay, I'm
because I really feel
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
right.
but you, hold
I
on,
really
hold
feel
on.
ways about
No,
that
but you
shit.
understand demographics too, right? Like this is
Yeah,
part of the
but she
reason
said
why
she's
your
19.
view of
gotta
the
think
world
she's
opposed to our view of the world
Exactly right.
is skewed, right?
19-year-old.
There's things that
like
I've seen,
19,
and then there's things
Get
that
out.
he's
You
seen.
gotta,
Like
you gotta
he
come
sat
back
there,
to the show because
he sat there and he said in this conversation that his mom and his dad put it in him that he's going to be this guy. He's the guy saying it's this day and it's this day, it's this day. My mom wasn't doing that, bro. Okay, when I was like 7 years old, I see my mom and oh shit. Okay, I'm gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. I see my mom. I see my mom getting into issues with like different fucking drug dealers or whoever. I assume whatever dirt she's into. I see fucking CSIS officers picking my mom up and taking her away, and us getting shipped off to Montreal. And I'm 8 years old. We've lived in downtown Toronto for like a minute, and my Nintendo, all my stuff, we just leave that shit there. Demographics matter. The things that we see when we're coming up matter, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not everybody sees the same shit. So like, I understand, and you said it the last time you were here that you're privileged and you come from privilege, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't judge you for that. You're my homie. I think you're great. But like,
I'm worried about being judged about it.
at the same time, that doesn't mean that like when we have a conversation about certain things that I'm gonna see things the way that you see things. You're gonna say something. We're gonna talk about Donald Trump, and you might view some of his policies in a certain way, and I'm gonna view them in a certain way just because of the way that I've lived life, as opposed to the way that you've lived life. You brought a whole bunch of points about infrastructure and stuff the last time that we were having a conversation when you were
easier
here.
for me to create
Okay.
not necessarily holes in your guys' points or something like that, but to poke at your guys' points.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Because
you can't create
it's a
holes in my
diff-
shit.
It's a different perspective. It's not putting holes
No,
in
but
it.
see,
It's questioning it.
Yeah,
Right?
but for
It's
me-
trying to get more answers
And
of what you
question-
think.
And questioning is
At the
important.
end of the thing, you think what you think, and I believe in what you think.
We'll just
That's
call you
it.
the Ben Shapiro of the show. Bro.
No, but see, that's the thing.
I'm
I
not
want
gonna tell you
people.
you're fucking
that's
wrong,
not-
man.
I take it back. I take it back. That's
not
rude. That's
cool.
rude. That's rude.
No, but I want people to punch holes in it because I want other people to view it because you're gonna get
That's a
people.
good conversation.
You're gonna
man.
get people to see your viewpoint, and you're gonna get people to see mine. You can put a hole in it.
Then
but
it
it
gets
doesn't
them
plug
even
it.
questioning, right? It gets them
It
all
doesn't.
even like,
It all
Look.
it does, it makes somebody go look at the two concepts and where are these concepts running from. And at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Dude, perception is reality. It is one of my favorite phrases, bro. It's from a fucking anime.
Reality.
It's from a fucking anime. It's the first time I heard it. Hold up. Like the internet, Instagram, Facebook, all of it, all the algorithms, all of it. Perception is reality. I post something and somebody's going to think some certain type of shit about me. Okay. That is the reality that I am creating for you on my page. I'll agree with you to a certain extent that it is my own fault to an extent that some people,
you being like that.
sure, of course. And I won't take anything away from
I
that. I won't take
give in to that
anything
shit.
away from that. But at the same
But
time,
you're questioning
that doesn't
why
mean-
people do so. And I'm telling
of course,
you,
I'm
that's
questioning the
definitely-
people that know me doing so. That's what I'm saying. That's why I say that in one form or another, this is a sickness. It's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody who's known me for half my life shouldn't be questioning me when they know me. If you knew me, you would know if something was wrong in my
To be
life.
Totally honest about it. Does anybody truly know anybody?
Well, and this is why I'm saying perception is reality, dude.
No, but that's the whole thing.
What I want you to see is
Is it
what you're
really
going to
reality?
see.
You want to say "fuck you" to me?
Well, I don't.
I don't know. I
Nope.
don't know.
Well, no, and that's what goes back to what Anthony was saying about who do you trust or whatever. He went a little off the rails with that because, like, I don't know exactly
So
where
that
he was
was
going. But, like,
my
no,
biggest
'cause-
issue with him, he's called himself. I don't mean any offense to Anthony. He was easy to work with.
He
it's
said
fun
he
to
was
play
a
with him,
futurist?
talking about calling himself a futurist.
I don't
And
agree with
he's-
it either because
No,
he's
but
not.
he is a futurist
No,
on the simple fact of
No,
he has his
he's not
own
open to the fact of reality of what it wants
he's
to
not.
grab from you and create from
Futurists
you.
are
and
constantly looking forward to the future.
consistently.
They're open-minded to any
Consistent.
concept
yeah, but
of
they're all
anything that can
all
happen.
different. They're all that's
No.
the thing.
No, there
Everybody
is
has
no
a-
different. Futurist is a
Look at one idea
standalone
of
word and statement.
moving.
You are
forward.
moving forward, bro.
He
He can't say that he's a futurist.
put a
And
stigma,
we've
I'm
had
sorry.
look. I'm not even
This
trying
is
to put him
back
on
to
blast
the
or
fact
anything, but
beat-
we've had
beating that
conversations.
girl, right?
And he brings most things back to the Stone Age before he talks about a way that we can improve on some of the things that we've argued about.
Yeah.
Okay?
No, I hear
You
I hear what you're
can't
saying.
sit there and say like we'll just use women as just a catalyst, okay? For him. Like
Don't defend him.
He
as a
brings-
person. Defend him as like the ideas that he brought to the table.
exactly.
That's what I'm asking.
He brings certain ideas to the table, and that's cool. You can believe what you want to believe,
But if
you're
you're
not
gonna say a
necessarily
futurist.
exactly.
I
If
agree.
you're a
Yeah,
futurist, you have to be open to the concept that A, you might be wrong, and B, to the fact that something different can come out of what you're talking about.
It's like robots. As soon as they make robots, they're going to take over the world. That's not a futurist. That's
No,
not
you're
a
right,
futurist.
you're right, you're right,
Yeah, I
you're
believe
right,
in
you're right.
robots will be a thing, but they're going to take over the world. That's not a
Yeah.
futurist.
With that said, he did say that in those simplest terms. But that's a very that's an oversimplification. But yes, I understand
That's
what
what I
you're saying.
mean.
Yeah, no.
You
And
can't- you
actually,
just
that was a
can't
good
be.
point. That's
You
a good
just
point
can't
from
be.
both of you
Yeah,
guys.
if the robot killed a human, that's
Well,
not
I guess
necessarily. That's
well,
not progression.
then you're arguing
technology.
definitions,
That's a
and I think
fucking
that's
yeah,
obviously.
I think
That's
I'm-
semantics. That's
some-
semantics.
exactly.
I'm not even trying to get
No, but
into the
that's the same
semantics
thing.
part of
What I
it.
was saying earlier is when people ask certain questions, and if I choose to answer, I choose to. If I don't, then I don't. Make up whatever you want to make out of it. It's up to you. Because at the end of the day, knowing somebody truly on an everyday basis and knowing somebody for over years, I was just having a conversation with my mom about one of my best friends growing up in my neighborhood and how we grew so much apart. And at the end of the day, you know what I mean? He came from a family where they thought they were above everybody else. And he himself is a product of that. And when he came to me and I'm like, yo, I'm fat ass broke. I'm finishing school. I got fucking debt. But you know what's cool is the people around me are helping me. They're feeding me. They're making sure I'm good. Because I've done the same for them. At the end of the day, he looked down on me. He's like, well, let's go to your apartment and let's see where you're living. Because I have my wife, I have my child. I have my child and I have a place to put a roof over my head. At the end of the day, this is what I have. This is what I'm doing alone. You're doing this with somebody else. A lot of people lose that concept when you're by yourself, fending for yourself and taking care of your responsibility.
Look, hey,
Things
just to what you're saying,
I will
you
give it
can
a lot of
and you
people
can
don't
attest to this
understand
too, because I've had lots of
I
conversations
understand
with you
that
guys,
I avoid
all of you guys,
responsibilities at all times.
Because you can't.
Devin, Josh,
That's
Jose,
that's
you,
much
whatever.
Because when I was at 24, at 24, there's different kind of peoples and everybody has a different kind of journey. And some people have that responsibility that they had no choice. They had to go into what
They
they
had to do what
wanted
they
to.
had to do. Yeah.
And then there's other people that are like,
Certain things weren't taking them in those directions, so they
Yeah.
could do what they
I'm
wanted.
going to do this,
Yeah.
I'm going to do
No
that.
doubt.
You know what I mean? There's some people that are
I'm one of
50
those
years
people.
old, and it's sad. It's sad to see a 50-year-old man working for $14 an hour going, what did you do in your life that you're working for $14 an hour? You know what I mean? And you're sitting there going, how are you going to retire?
Like, why did you make
Look,
a change?
Cal,
No, look,
how
no,
are we
no,
all
but
going?
look, here's
I've been a
what I'm gonna
manager
say.
in
Here's what I'm
retail
gonna
and
say.
I've seen that. a
You've said
lot.
before to me, like,
And I've, again,
not
I look at
necessarily,
them
not
like
necessarily to like plug at me or anything like that,
I'm not
but you'll
at
come
all
at me and you'll be
fucking
like, hey
How
man,
can you ever
you know,
do
you
that?
could kind of, you can do better. You can do better. You know what I mean? You don't necessarily need to dress this way. You don't necessarily need to act this way. I've had conversations with you. You're an intelligent guy. Why do you portray yourself?
But I do feel
in
all of
this
us are
light,
very
in this
confident
way,
men in
right?
general in here, so
Right?
It's, easy,
It's fair enough to say.
for
I've
us to
had
think
many
that.
conversations with you guys over the years about that
There's
shit,
a
right?
lot of men in this world.
not everybody moves at the same pace. For me to be where I'm at, as opposed to where I was last year, 5 years ago. Do you understand what I'm saying? And like, I'm not tooting my own horn or anything like that. This guy's only known me for like 8 months, and he commends me for what I do and the life that I lead right now, and the things that I have to put up with, and the things where I'm at, like where I'm at. You know, I'm gonna plug Devin here. I'm just gonna say a name, but like, just so you, for context, right? You don't know who that is, but it's whatever. So like, he's a guy who in his head, he thinks the things that he is doing is what's validating his existence. Him being in Australia, cooking and doing in his head, oh, that's living life. That is living life. That's as rich as it gets for him. You know what I mean? You want to know what's rich for me? When I wake up and I'm like half in the bag after Christmas because like I fucking was out at his mom's house having a party or something like that, or annual party or whatever, and I watch my kids open their presents. And even though I know, like when they were younger, they'd open up their shit and they just like the boxes or the wrappers. They wouldn't even care about the fucking actual shit that we bought them. And as things go on, you know, they get older. Quince is 14. He barely cares about what he gets. You know what I mean? He's just like, I got what I got. I'm going to my room to fuck with my shit. Do you understand what I'm saying? But at the same time, that's rich for me. You know, where I'm at right now, I could never imagine myself at 21 years old thinking I'm coming out of college. I might be able to call myself a college graduate. I might be able to tell my kids that I'm a college graduate. I'm working at a job that I didn't go out and look for. Somebody came to me and asked me to come and do because of my skills working at that type of job. It's progress.
Personality that you have.
No, it's progress, right? It's progress.
Everyone's progress is different. Well, I mean, I think
You have to acknowledge that type of shit in life.
well, here's the thing: as somebody, I'm not a educator in the sense, like I'm an educator, but like I'm not a teacher.
Yeah.
But in the sense that one thing that we know in education is that literally every single student is different. You can group people in this and that and here, but we're all learning at different paces, and everyone's going to learn in different ways. Every single class that I teach, I know, like, you know, I've got, well, I can't even say how many routines I'm making right now. Different. Well, it's funny because even when your skill level is the same or similar, it's how you process that information. Like I have one student that if I show them some choreography, they are getting all of the movements like this, like the details of the movements. They got muscle wise, they get it like that. And then there's somebody, but then, well, I'm just talking learning. They'll get it that like that. And then in terms of the way they dance it for the next little while, they can execute it like that and on time and so on. Then I get someone who's another student who again, from a skill level, about the same. But when they're learning the choreography, they need to ask me a ton of questions. They need to go home, work on it. They need to look at it from different angle. They need to, and then come back. And then when they get to on stage a month from now, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference of how they learn, right? Mm. And then not to mention the 6 other people who are in that group where there's, you know, and everyone is different. Everyone learns differently. Everyone's experience, progress is different to everybody. It's the same thing, like, you know, what's the cilantro, where I love cilantro, but to some people cilantro tastes like soap, right? Yeah. There's a certain section of the population who has, when they taste cilantro, it tastes like soap. And I'm like, are you crazy? Cilantro is delicious, right? Everyone is different. I think that's and everyone learns differently. Everyone's different.
I'm just saying everybody looks at life differently. They have their view of what they think this shit is supposed to be, what they think fun is supposed to be, what they think
what's fun to you is
not necessarily fun to you. Yeah. Exactly, right? Like 3 years ago, going out to a club and spending a ridiculous amount of money might have been cool. You know what I mean?
I gotta go further back to that.
No, but this is what I'm saying. But
it was a good time.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
spent
but
a lot
it's
of
growth.
money.
It's
Yeah,
growth,
yeah,
right? It's
right,
growth,
yeah.
right? This is what we're talking about. It's
Do we have
growth.
to be on mute for that conversation?
Remember
I
those
think the government,
times?
I think the government's stealing them with some money, and he ain't getting shit, motherfucker.
Look, I still and like, don't get me wrong, I still like it. I want to go out and still have fun, but I'm just over this whole thing where it's like I need to do this every weekend or every other weekend or once a month. I
Well,
want to do it when it matters.
Check last night, for instance.
I remember doing it.
I haven't
Thursday,
gone
Friday,
out.
Saturday shit.
This is what I'm saying.
I haven't gone out to a bar probably. Like going to a pub is nothing.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's not a.
But I went out last night and I'm sitting there going, I'm like, I got $100 in my pocket. I'm not trying to fucking spend it like a rocket. This is where I'm at. I already pre-drink. I'm already lit. I'm sitting there going and watching different situations occur.
play out. In
Oh
the
my
club.
God, bro!
the
Last night was a
best.
thing.
And it was
Where'd you guys
hilarious.
Absinthe.
That's where I was on Thursday, on Wednesday.
We were there Thursday.
Don't kill me. I was there on Wednesday.
And I was sitting there and I was going and watching certain situations. And I saw this girl and I can tell, like,
Me and Drew.
being that
Me and
I've
Drew were
been
there.
in the industry for so long, you can see certain things fall.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to her and I'm like, oh, this girl's gonna fuck you around. She needs air.
Oh, bro, it was bad.
So we go outside and then you can now see the alcohol is now going through. And I can see her body language and her body language is going, this is coming up. And I'm like, start positioning myself.
Yeah, big patio.
So I'm just like, okay. And then I kind of didn't give a fuck because I was drunk. And I was like, maybe I should say something to her friend. But her friend looks like she's having a great conversation with him. So I'm like, I'm going to dip. Too bad for her. I'm out. And I turn around. And then
Bro, he literally left me. It's so horrible. I didn't want to talk to this first girl in the first place. You of all people have been with me in the club. I'm very tentative. I do not just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fuck with whoever fuck come my way. I'm not that. I've never been that guy. Ever.
see, I've been that guy majority of my life.
Oh,
So for me,
I always like talking. That's me too.
you got, because the thing about talking, like, what is the point of me being here if I'm
Oh,
not
you are
interacting?
talking.
Yeah, same.
You know what I
me?
mean?
Oh, I love
Whether or
talking.
not she's gonna come home with me, we had that moment that the
He
next
talking.
time we see each other.
don't get me wrong. It's
Is
not
what
to
I-
say that I don't like conversation.
Mhm.
What I'm talking about is the concept of being in the club and knowing that somebody might be talking. Girls don't like, especially at the time. It was like 2007, some shit like that, 2008. Like, a girl's not necessarily, if she's approaching you, if she's coming up to you to say something to you, it's way more common now. And I don't care what anybody says.
No, it's not that common.
Yeah, it is.
You
Because
got-
it happens to me
you-
way too often
You gotta,
lately.
yeah, but you got to look at it as if a girl's coming up to you to talk to you, she's probably coming up to talk to you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
It's not. You know what I just realized? I just realized what you were thinking. It's kind of like okay, because you're like it happens a lot now, but it's like no, it doesn't happen a lot now. It's just the age of the women that you are around now is different. Just like I'm saying this to my wife. I'm like do you know what it's like I want to say this in the right way, like I'm trying to say this in the right way without
This
how
is political
like
correctness.
yeah,
people.
this is not even political. This is just trying to be like how do
I can't say this.
I don't want to be immortalized
Yeah.
as saying. Well, like you know when you see and like literally this is a conversation I had with my wife, but like where that the conversations about like women now, like I see more beauty in women at this age now. I'm like, yo, like I see some women at like 40. I'm like, yo, that woman is hot, son.
Yo, 100%.
But like in
100%.
terms of the percentage of when I saw that when I was younger, there'd be the odd one where you're like, yeah, man, yo, that 40-year-old could get it. Whereas like now, because like what that's 6 years away. That's not. There's a difference, right?
Yeah,
It's like now it seems like there's more hot women at that age, but no, it's
just for me, I was a
Bro, I was 20
sexual
years
predator.
old. Things-
So I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. This cute face, I'm sitting there going, yo, fuck
This
all
is
that,
where
fuck all that political correctness. I ain't trying to
Okay,
rape
just
nobody.
to clarify,
I ain't trying to
what
rape
he meant,
nobody.
he was charming.
He's charming.
Charming.
Super charming.
as a male, kind of like Rico, like kind of just being smooth
I'm
is
not
what he
trying.
meant.
I'm
Anyway,
not
sorry,
trying.
continue. Bill, let him.
I'm
just
not trying to
clarify.
rape nobody, but I'm trying to bring a party. And the thing about it was that there's markers. There's certain things you're sitting there like, I want to mess with a 35-year-old, 32-year-old because I want to learn something.
Mm.
And then I realized you don't learn shit.
No.
You get told shit.
Okay, so like this is what I'm
But
saying.
that's how you want it.
You know
No,
what I mean?
Okay, no. This is what I'm saying. I was with.
This guy's
Sons of a sexual predator.
like, here it is, man. Come on,
Hey,
man.
man.
You're fucking with yourself. Anyways,
because we're having real men talking.
cool.
At the
No.
end of the day-
Please don't say locker room talk.
No,
Please,
please
no.
don't.
Please
Just
don't
don't say it, please. Look, he can attest to this because he was with me, okay? And it's what he said to me after the fact. Bro, we're at The Honest Lawyer just opened. I don't know, we're a few months into it or whatever. And I'm here with
I
this
smoke a
guy.
lot. My hair's stink.
My bad.
No, it's all good.
My bad. But like, no, we're there at The Honest Lawyer. It's just whatever, man. I hear you. We're drinking, we're having a good time, we're dancing. I'm dancing with this guy. This guy dances. I kind of just follow some movements that he does. We're doing our thing, okay? We're chilling, and some lady comes over, kind of scoots over real quick. Do you remember this?
I don't know which situation you're talking about, so I'm not
The
sure yet.
light-skinned lady. I don't know if I'm saying that politically correct.
No, I feel that's still good.
Okay. The light-skinned, yeah.
I feel like that's still good.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's. I don't know
Well,
if that's. She was half black.
Okay.
She was half black and something else. Okay. Anyways, the point is she scoots over to us and she comes over to me and she starts talking to me. She's like, "Yeah, you dance nice, bro. I'm 20 years old. Okay, 21 maybe." I'm like, yeah, that's good. That's good. She's like, "Well, look, if you want to come over and dance, I am right over here. I'm right over here." And in my head, I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for this shit. So I'm like, no, true. I hear you. So she's like, all right. I'm just letting you know, like, I'm right over here. Okay. She go back over there. Josh looks at me and he's like, bro, what are you doing? And I'm like,
why are you still dancing
Yeah,
with your boy?
he's like, and I'm like, bro, I don't know if I was ready. He was like, bro, if you went home with that girl, that woman, rather, I apologize, that woman, if you went home with that woman, she would change your life. I was like, that's what I'm afraid of.
That's one of the things.
That is what I'm afraid
No,
of.
but
you
that
know?
was one of the things where I remember I went with this.
That just reminded me of that.
This
situation.
older woman. I think I had
Redhead,
to
you remember the redhead?
be 24. I'm
I'll
24.
still be upset about this situation.
This girl had such an LL complex. She's like, I love LL Cool J. I said, all right.
Did you just start licking your lips all of a
I was
sudden?
about to say the same thing.
You just start going like
I was
this.
about to say the same thing.
Yo, this girl's just like,
This-
yo, I'm looking for a monster dick. I'm sitting there going, I'm like,
She said that to you?
she said it straight up.
She's
She's like, I'm looking for a monster dick. I want you to go deep and all kinds of shit. I'm
We
sitting
don't
there like,
all think the same.
I'm sitting there like, all right. Of course I'm sitting there going, I'm like, shit, I got a dick, but I'm like,
Trust me.
nah, I'm sitting there, I got a dick, but I'm making it work.
Literally last summer I had a story from that one.
Nah, because the thing about it is like
Run it,
when
bro.
we were going out,
We seem to end on embarrassing stories.
No, he's got-
6 days a week trying to
Oh,
find
shit.
pussy.
We got to keep it down.
For sure.
We got going out 6 days a week trying to find pussy. And it was crazy because you're sitting there going, one, you got money. 2, you still live at home. 3, you're literally like from Monday to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday going out and drinking. And it's just, there was
That's
just
weird, right?
so much. And you're trying to work
Yeah.
at the same time. So you're sitting there going, I'm like, I'm at this girl's house. I got to be at work for 7. I haven't gone home yet. I'm going to work half in the bag and just do crazy ass stuff. Where I remember going to work once, got to this girl's house, went home, got money. I'm drunk. I got back down. I go to this girl's house. I'm so lit up. I'm laying down in her bed like, why the fuck did I come back here? I should have stayed at home. Next thing I know, I'm like, I gotta go to work. I get up, I go, I'm at work. I'm probably there for an hour. Some guys just like, yo, you look rough. I'm like, yeah, man. And like, da 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 da, rah, rah, rah. And I buy this heater, not thinking that as I sit here and that whole conversation about the frog, that's how I felt. I'm sitting there, I'm heated up and like, man, I'm hot and I'm not moving. Next thing I know, like, boom, I gotta puke. I sat in that car for the rest of the day till that shift was done. I was like, yo, just trying to get.
All right. We put up 2.5 hours. We got to wrap up. This is good.
You feel like you want to tell your story?
Oh, fuck. I have literally got like 6 stories off of that one story. So it's just like, I'm not gonna say it. Don't worry.
We can
Yeah,
say
I'll say a quick one. Fuck,
No.
the last time I showed up at work like that. Fuck, pull up in the parking lot. Just left the chick's house. Fucking no sleep. Pull up in the parking lot at work. Realize I got to puke now. I'm like, fuck. I just pulled in my fucking, like, literally in my parking spot, right in front of my work. I was like, all right, I'm blowing up. Pull out the door. Puke out the door. I was like, all right, I'm not going in. Can't go in yet. I'm way too fucked up. So I lean back and I fall asleep. I wake up and there's a cop beside me in the parking lot. I'm just like, fuck. So he's just like, he's checking my plates. He's like, all right, you seem everything seems okay. He's like, but he's like, you're still drunk, aren't you? And I was just like, fuck. I was like, I don't know what you mean, sir. He's just like, you know what? As soon as you pull out of this parking lot, I'm gonna pull you over. Call someone to get picked up and go home and pick up your car later. I was just like, thank you. I was just thank you.
You want to know what would happen if that was me in that car?
Well, 'cause you know what? Police, like, it's nice when you have those situations because then that's an officer
who
who
couldn't do anything in the beginning, and they would thank God he was
Well,
nice enough to
that's
say
an
that
offer.
like what could be.
that's an officer that sees the two sides of that. One, I'm gonna help you out. Two, I'm gonna help you out so that nothing actually does happen. Like, let's say you do go, because like the thing is that
As soon as I pull the
for
parking lot,
long-
I hit somebody.
for the thing is that for many years we could all say whatever you wanted to say about like driving under the influence, driving drunk, and
real.
people are like, oh,
Real
it's
shit.
whatever. No, that shit is real.
Yeah, that's real
That shit is, once you get into an accident, just a regular accident, being completely sober.
It's still real. I mean, like,
I mean, and then I
as
can't
real
even
as it is
imagine.
right
I
there,
can't
it's
even
like-
imagine. Sorry.
as real
And then I
as it
can't
is
even
right there.
imagine actual like delay times, like in terms of being so like that cop was doing you a favor to do you a favor in terms of your record, but also was ultimately doing you a true
Yeah.
You're seeing
Saving your life, potentially.
civilization,
Yeah.
realistically.
and
Saving
other
your
people's lives, right?
All right. We're going to wrap this up.
Yeah, man.
Are the two people still watching?
Addison already posted. He thought it was hilarious. I don't know who the other person is. To be
I feel like I'm gonna
perfectly
get like premises like the white arson kid.
No, you'll be all right.
So the white arson kid.
Look, I think I'm gonna actually put this one up. No,
Live,
plug
was
yourself,
it
man.
not?
It's you. You're the other co-host, man. You got.
Well,
Was it live? Wasn't it?
another great show,
So it's already posted.
Yeah, on YouTube.
Knights of the Black Table. It's a great title because we're all knights.
Yeah, we are. We are
I
on
do have to
the,
admit, there's one thing that bothers the hell out of me.
the missing spots, right?
No, right here. Why in the world wouldn't you have these four connecting covers next to each other?
Why are you so hating so much about my?
Safari, that makes me so
Oh,
sad.
he's so mad about my
I
comic
watched it
books.
an
He's so
hour-
mad.
an hour ago, and I was like,
This is the end of the
actually-
podcast.
Look, no, look. at it.
Good
Look,
night,
it makes
people.
me
Knights of the
nuts.
Black
Why would you
Table.
do that? It's insane. No, look, see. This goes here. That goes there. This goes right